You are not going to believe me, but this is the best Pokemon team report you will ever see. I sat down with the number 3 player from the Portland VGC Regional Championships. He's a rookie. He is 17 years old, and he just made $2,000, went 10-1, went undefeated in Day 1 Swiss with Kyogre and Calyrex Ice. And in this video, I am going to be doing a team report with him where we go through his full team breakdown, his entire tournament run, all of his matchups, and how you can actually play them. His VGC advice to make the tournament McFree, and he made me kind of McFree when he beat me in Swiss, as well as his huge secret. We also are going to, in the comments, link below the Pokemon paste for you to play on Pokemon Showdown, as well as the rental code for you to battle with Cary's team on the ranked ladder. So if you are ready to watch this video, like, subscribe, get ready, and grab some popcorn and maybe even a notepad, because this is the best team report you will ever watch. All right, here we go. I'm gonna hydro pump in 3, 2, 1. Now we're in the lab. We're locked in, and we have Mr. Cary D'Ortona. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, it's D'Ortona. It's actually it's Italian for of Ortona, so it's
Cary D'Ortona.
Yes.
Yeah. But dude, thank you so much for coming. You just got top 4 at the Portland VGC Regional Championships. You McFreed the McFree Master, and you were honestly, maybe some could say, a critical hit away from being in finals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is an episode I think most people, I have to share your team, your advice, because you're only 17 years old. You are in the top 20, I believe now, in CP in North America in your first year as a master. And
my second year, actually. This is my second year.
Okay, second year.
Well, it's weird. It's my second season. I forget how the stuff works. It's my second season.
Yeah. Got it. And again, I just want to give you your credit because you absolutely crushed this weekend, beating some of the top players. So I'm just going to kind of pull up this picture right here. Guys, look at this. He finished number 3. He won $2,000. And he finished 9-1, finished 3rd place in a over 450 person tournament. And it's unbelievable. So yeah, I just want to introduce you, and I'd love for you to, before we even go into your team, go into everything, I want you to just talk about, man, how are you feeling coming off of this insane performance? Like, that is something I have to know.
So I'm actually like really happy about it. It feels very different like than my previous results. Normally I'd be like kind of bummed, like I was like this close, or like I was like just like that far away. But like this time it felt like I did it. Like I proved it to myself. Like I proved it to myself that like I'm good. Like I can't lie, last couple regionals I've been suffering from like imposter syndrome in a way, like thinking if like my achievements were real or if I was just like lucky and I just like happened to get there, which is easy to fall into that rabbit hole and get stuck in.
Definitely.
But like after Atlanta and some stuff in like my personal life, I really wanted to like turn it around and focus on changing my mentality to do better at this regional. And I think it really did show.
Showed is an understatement, man. You again, top 4. Like I got the top 8 twice, and that top 8 match is so hard to win through. And you went and messed around and got to the top 4, bro. So like, I just want to just give you your congratulations, because dude, like,
thank you.
Top 3, you got 3 booster boxes, got the plushes going, got the mat, and dude, you did it with a really cool team. Like, man, like, I guess not even how do you feel, but now that you've won, do you feel like you have now like lost that imposter syndrome? Like, what's your head at?
I just feel like I'm ready to play good Mons again. Like, it's just like, I feel like, because I think I proved it to myself that, I am good at this game. I can play it at a high level. There's still a lot to learn, still a lot to grow, as with any player, right?
For sure.
But like, I feel like ready. Like I'm ready for NAIC. I'm ready for my first
it's
Worlds.
only 2 weeks away, and you're Worlds, dude, I'm trying to join you at Worlds. I have some updates for everyone watching to see where I think it updated today.
Yes, it did.
So we're gonna show some people where we are all in the rankings. But dude, I guess I would love to just kind of jump right into it and go into your team, because I think you already shared it. But
Yeah, it's right down there.
if Golden Grams gives you a recipe, it's okay. You can take the recipe and see what happens. But
Right.
if Golden Grams gives you the recipe and teaches you why everything's there and how to cook it, it's a big difference. So
100%.
Here we go. We have CIR, Kyogre, Finn, Amoonguss with your EVs, and this is your holy grail.
Yes.
So before we even jump into every individual Pokemon, I first want to hear, how do you feel about the team? What does it mean to you? How did you come up with the idea? How did you build it? Walk me through from 0 to 100 this team. And feel free to take breaks. You can ask me questions.
Yeah.
Take your time.
No, I got you. There is a story to this. There is a story to this.
I'm all ears. I'm all ears.
So it actually kind of goes back to the end of Reg G. So so Reg G, for the last regional I went to, it was Atlanta. I ended up going 5-3 with Calyrex Ice Rider. I ran a team that I worked on with my good friend Patrick Connors. We built before, and so I ran the team. I didn't get like a ton of practice with it. Went 5-3. Lost my winning into a crit volt switch against Daniel Marcelo Rise, which sucked. But it was like it was bound to like it can happen, right? Like good, bad luck, whatever. And I was happy that he made day 2. I got to play him.
For sure.
But I was really bummed, and I was like, I really want to do well at the next regional. So I really wanted to take I seriously. But the end of my senior year of high school was approaching, so I had to also focus on that. Yeah. So I was trying to like intertwine school with team building and like figure it out. So I knew I kind of wanted to stick with Ice Rider because I started the format playing CSR Zama, which I liked it like a good bit. But then, but like when Sun teams started to pick up, I was like, this thing feels like until I see major changes, it's going to be like really hard in the Sun. So I'm like, okay, I want something with Trick Room because Trick Room feels good. Like it feels like really good. Like once I get into Trick Room, I can like start cleaning house and like with right positioning, then it feels right. So I knew I wanted to do Ice Rider. So I started.
Ice Rider was the first piece of the idea here.
Yes, I wanted to play Ice Rider because I think Lunala's cool, but like. I'm a big. I like the Calyrexes. Like I think they're just cool in general. So
they get 2 abilities.
Right.
Like, they are so powerful.
And just broken Pokemon.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, so I wanted to like stick with it mainly because like I played Atlanta with it, so might as well take the skills that I learned from practicing a bit with that team. And, like,
comfort is everything.
Yes. Right. So I was building Ice Rider Koraidon for a while with Patrick, but I didn't really like the way it felt. It felt like it would have really, really good matchups, but also like really, really bad matchups, especially into the Ice Rider mirror. Just felt like really rough, and I was just like, I'm not feeling it. So like we're like 2 weeks away from Portland. I have like no team because I'm not vibing with the Koraidon Ice Rider stuff. And then my buddy Andrew Figueres comes along and he's like, hey, I've been working on this team. I used it in Milwaukee. Here, let me show you this. And so he shows me this team. It's very similar to this one, but it was Mystic Water Urshifu.
Should I pull that up real quick? Should we pull that up?
If you want to pull it up, it was Milwaukee. He went 7-4.
Let's see.
It was very similar to the team that we actually brought to the regional.
So he did very well. He ended up doing very well.
He did. He went 7-4. He placed pretty well. So he ran this team, and it's very, very similar to what we had in.
I see a couple of small differences here.
Yes. So first off, the Kyogre was Terra Poison for Zamazenta at the time, but he said it didn't really come up that much. Landorus was here, and he said Landorus didn't really do too much. And then he also felt like he was never clicking high horsepower with Ice Rider, so he wanted to change
garbage move in my opinion.
So he wanted to change it to something else. And then he said Jugulis felt like broken, and so I was really intrigued by the concept. I never really played Talon before, and I was like, this looks pretty strong. Let me like try it out. And he was like, yeah, the only issues so far have been Miraidon, so I dropped Landorus for Rillaboom to improve the matchup. So
which is funny because most people would think, Landorus is such a great Pokemon to Miraidon, but because of its awkward speed tier, that Draco Meteor is just coming from God and it's going to knock you out. So Rillaboom feels really consistent and you get to always control terrain. And I also like the interaction with the Amoonguss it gets too. So I think that
Yes.
was a cool switch you made.
Yeah, that was that was the switch that like Andrew proposed, and I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then he's like, here's the team, ladder it with a bit, and tell me what you think. And
Okay.
so after like my account was like mid 1300s after like tilting on like the Cryon stuff. But then like I laddered up to like top 50 on ladder, and I was like, there's something here. There's something here.
And by ladder,
And
you mean
so
showdown, regulation, I.
yeah, best of 3 ladder.
Perfect.
And I was like, okay, there's something here. So I'm like, I want to full commit on this. Like this seems really strong.
Yep.
And so then that's when I started contributing to like some of the ideas, like stat changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the other paste, that's when we started like really teching the EVs, changing the Terras, and then like changing a lot of the items. So like we kind of stuck with this 6 like for a majority of the team building process. Only really changing EVs and items. The only mon that like temporarily changed was Urshifu to Lando I, because I felt like I wanted a better Zamazenta matchup, but we found that we ran into an issue that the Tailwind mode wasn't as strong and the Trick Room mode wasn't as strong because you couldn't just go through Protect. Like that's the benefit of having
you have those turns of where for Tailwind, you have a set amount of turns you can capitalize on that speed control. Protect is a way of stalling out both of them. You bring in Urshifu, who says, I don't care about your Protect. I'm going to bop every single turn.
100%.
Rain as well. That damage stacks up, and you make them have to play a game that they don't want to play. And
exactly.
I love that idea.
So we pivoted back to this. And once again, we mostly stuck on this.
Yeah.
I was considering Clear Amulet. Before the event.
Yeah.
And because like I was like Ensign's increasing in usage, it feels awkward, but like Nevermelt Ice was just better into every other matchup that didn't have Incineroar, and a lot of the top teams did not have Incineroar.
That's so the reason I came up with the idea of lead sheet on Calyrex, because in the matchups where you play Incineroar, sure, you have to outplay and play really well, but into every other matchup, it is so dominant. So I love the idea of getting creative with Nevermelt. I think it was, for one, I played against you, which we'll talk about later, and those damage rolls make such a big difference over the course of a battle. And I saw
100%.
I was like, oh my god.
Like even at -1 with the spread, you're still doing 80% of what a normal Glacial Lance is doing, which is still like 50% of a Pokemon's HP. Right. And then like you have a lot of ways to scare Incineroar. Now, good players will still bring Incineroar to this matchup. But a lot of the times like people like will feel uncertain with bringing Incineroar and like be very scared. So a lot of the times we'll just leave it at home, and you just get to bring full powered Nevermelt Ice Rider to a game and like just start steamrolling.
Yeah, seriously.
But to break down, like to start getting into some of the spreads, because like once again, for most of the team building process, it stayed the same, and what like cemented it for us, like the 5 that we had to stick to, which was Calyrex, Amoonguss, Kyogre, Urshifu, and Jugulis, was Japan Nats qualifier results. Because a couple players like Yuta Ishigaki and Elizabeth,
and Yuta finished second, I believe, at Worlds, correct?
Yes, Yuta Ishigaki finished second at Worlds. They actually used the same 5, like that same 5, so we knew that was correct. But both had different 6 slots. Yuta ran Rhyperior, and Elizabeth ran Graspon with a eject button, if I remember correctly. But the important thing about both of those choices was they were teched on to beat Miraidon. So we knew that it had to be something to beat Miraidon. And so that's where like Rillaboom came into the picture. So that's the main reason why we stuck with this core here. I'll start off with the main Pokemon.
Yeah, let's walk through one by one. I'd love to hear you walk through what it was, and then how you kind of went through each spread, why each move was so intentional, the EV spreads, the grass, because a lot of people who are watching my content really want to know the math and like the psychological behind team building and the EV side of it, because I think you talked really a great kind of theory through the team. I still want to hear more about the synergies together, but I really want to hear about how all these EVs are meticulously placed, why they were there, for what matchups, and I want to love to talk. If you could talk me through every single, I know you love this game, so walk me through every single piece and why they're here, because I think you have so much to say on all of it. So
gotcha. So I think an important thing to say, right, is there is important things to calc, right? But sometimes it's important to get your head out of the calculator and actually play the game. Because if you
Fact.
spend too much time in the calculator, then you're not like getting any like
You're not getting skills.
jobs
You're not
done.
getting used
You're
to it.
not getting practice. You're not gaining anything from it. So it's important to start with like somewhat generic spreads and then work from there. So like basically like just come up with like just hit the bumps, like what you kind of want it to do. And then over
Yeah.
time after testing matchups, optimize it. That's usually the best
Yep.
way to do it. Like so Ice Rider. So I'll start with this, named it Ermin Trout after Patrick's Ice Rider that won NAIC. He told me to
Hey,
name it
that
that.
good luck. I'm gonna name
Yeah,
mine.
he told me to name it for good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same thing, man.
Yeah, so I named it Ermin Trout. It's a pretty standard Ice Rider set overall, 252 HP. A lot of Never Melt Ice Calyrex Ice Riders usually go usually less attack. Like for example, Hirofumi Kimura used like
Yeah.
4 attack Never Melt Ice Rider on his like
Okay. World team.
on his Worlds team. Yeah. So I was just like, I wonder what ranges we can hit by just like leaving it at 116, like most Ice Rider are with Clear Amulet. And it just felt amazing for damage ranges. Like you're two-shotting Ogre Pawns, you're Okoing Amoonguss, like Shadow Riders, like after you chip it with like Aqua Jet or like break its sash, it's dying. And it just felt like the exact right attack for the Glacial Lance ranges.
Okay.
For defense, pretty standard. You don't really need to invest too much defense unless you're like trying to hit specific roles.
Yep.
And then the 100 special defense was actually there for Life Orb, Shadow Rider / Terra Ghost, Astral Barrage, Sash Shadow Rider,
Okay.
because they hit similar roles. You like if you're running Life Orb Shadow Rider, like max special attack, it's only like a couple percentage points off of Terra Ghost, Astral Barrage from Sash Shadow Rider.
Yeah.
So it was to guaranteed live that, and then the 36 speed was for the Talon mode, so that we always outsped max speed Urshifu. Because like a lot of the mons in the format were going slow, and then it's like we still wanted the Ice Rider to function really well in the Trick Room and still like underspeed a lot of things. So we wanted to keep it like somewhat low speed and allow it to operate in both more fluidly. But like but yeah, like the spread felt like perfect for this event. It lived everything that I needed it to. It did the exact amount of damage I needed it to. Now the moveset. So I think high horsepower is kind of garbo this format.
I'm seeing something interesting here. So let's.
High horsepower feels kind of garbo this format because like what are you hitting with it, right? Like so you're hitting Incineroar and you're hitting Zamazenta. In this matchup, Zamazenta is always terrestrializing, usually, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just hitting neutral high horsepowers into a Zamazenta.
+1 defense. Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not doing anything. Like Incineroar is going to intimidate me anyway, right? Like I want a move that can have utility in other matchups, right? So Andrew proposed me the idea of Seed Bomb. And I was like, that's crazy. And then he's like, trust. and he's like, trust me. I'm like, okay.
Of course, trust me, bro. He said, trust me, bro.
He said, trust me. I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. And then as I started playtesting, I realized, oh my gosh, this is like so good because not only do you get the Terra Grass boost, so like you have a stab grass move that you're clicking, it combos with the grassy terrain and you're pressuring Terra Waters. So if anything tries to Terra Water defensively, you just drop like a Terra Grass Seed Bomb on terrain into them and just like Oko them. It's also really good for the Kyogre mirror. And it just felt like so good because like the boosted Seed Bombs were doing damage. I never really missed having high horsepower this tournament, to be like completely honest. And Seed Bomb just felt like the correct choice. There were so many Terra Waters that I was able to take advantage of.
You did it to me, man.
A good example is yours. And so it was just really good at like pinning slots with like the Kyogre, the Urshifu, and like the Rillaboom, and it just like worked overall so cohesively.
Because almost 90% of Calyrex ices right now are all Terra Water. And
100%.
when you pressure them with your Urshifu, your like Jugulis, not really, but more Urshifu and your Kyogre, you have to Terra Water. You feel like it. But now I'm Terra Watering and I'm facing a Thunder from Kyogre and there's Terra Grass Seed Bomb, maybe in terrain from Rillaboom. It's like you're never safe. And It's not that you can not play, but it's you're always on the response. You're always being reactive more than proactive because
Oh,
there's nothing that
100%.
Calyrex Ice can do back to either of those. So
Right.
it's you're always in a great spot to just, okay, well, you have your water type. Well, all right, we'll enjoy this, man. So I love the idea. And it makes the terrain boost just gives it that chef's kiss to where it's like the Terra grass seed bomb's already great. Now let me add the grassy terrain on top of
Right,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like people may be asking why Terra Grass, right? Overall, like why not just run Terra Water or Fire? Even though I don't think Fire is like a good Terra on Cali
Yeah.
Ice in general. So Grass, first off, it resists surging strikes, which is important. I think you need to resist surging strikes if you're in rain, no matter what. Which leaves you like Water, Dragon, and Grass, right? Grass was very crucial because the idea is this: most teams' answers into Trick Room was Amoonguss. A lot of the Calyrex Charter Rider teams, their answer into Trick Room as of recent has just been slapping an Amoonguss on the team and just clicking Spore, right? So if you just have Terra Grass, you just shut that down as an option, and Amoonguss is just sitting on the field doing nothing. I mean, if it has Sludge Bomb, it's doing something, but you can like Pollen Puff to get all your HP back.
We also saw in the top 8, every single top 8 team had a Spore user on it.
Yes.
So we saw Spore
so good.
and Brubon and Amoonguss are literally in every single one of the top 8 teams. So the value of Terra Grass clearly must have came up.
Yes, it did. It was all, and also the fire weakness doesn't really matter when you have Kyogre, like in rain. Life Orb, Terrafire, Flare Blitz from Koraidon in rain is doing like maybe 50%. Like it's not doing enough damage to be like super threatening. And then like you just get up Trick Room, you Pollen Puff the HP back, and you're just maintaining like a ton of board pressure.
Yeah.
So like this Calyrex set felt like the right one for the tournament, and it felt like unstoppable when you got into Trick Room in like a lot of scenarios. But like that's basically it for the Ice Rider. It just felt like amazing for the tournament, especially like when you would transition from like the super fast tailwind mode and have it in the back to like set up an endgame Trick Room scenario.
Yeah.
Then we have my Amoonguss, Moorhall. I named it after my friend Landon Morgel. The reason why I named it is because he is very supportive. He's always like there when I like need help and stuff. And he convinced me to stay on Rillaboom for the tournament. So I'm like, you're the support, you're the backbone.
There you go. Hey, I like that. Also, I'm excited to see the Rillaboom slot because we were talking a little bit that was not Rillaboom the night before. So
yes, I'll explain when I get there.
Shout out more.
Yeah, Landon. Landon also was one of like the key builders for Patrick's NAIC team. Like,
okay, wow, okay.
Yeah. So it's like he's just a huge help. He's a great friend, and I'm very appreciative of him. So Amoonguss, I'm gonna like keep it short and sweet because it's a really standard Amoonguss set,
okay,
right?
Let's do it.
Yeah, like 236, 156 defense, right? Just so you can live the Glacial Lances. We actually bumped up the special defense a little bit after.
Yeah, this is very high from what I'm used to. I'm only typically seeing Wolfie run a lot of special defense on his Amoonguss, but this is a high number because usually I see people calculating to live like Chin POW attacks. So I'm curious, what was the reasoning for this special defense?
So this was actually a recommendation by one of the late joiners of like the building group, Blake Silver.
That's my guy.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, I recommend this Amoonguss spread because there's better rolls for Shadow Rider overall, including Psychic, which actually did come up in the tournament when I played Emilio Forbes. And so it just had just like a ton of other like little rolls here and there. Like my Amoonguss kept constantly living on like 4 HP, 7 HP. Like, so Blake's recommendation was like huge for like the overall success of the team in the run. Now the Amoonguss is Terra Water, fairly standard. I think it's the best Terra on Amoonguss for this team besides Fire. Like my friend Geodas ran like a rain team with Kyogre, Zamazenta, and placed the top 16 in Utrecht. And he used Terrifier Amoonguss and said it was for Chen Paos and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's better into the Chen Pao Zama stuff, if I remember correctly. I don't remember the exact reason why, but Water felt like the right choice. Obviously, you need Spore, Rage Powder, and Protect. I think Protect's crucial for positioning and Trick Room and baiting certain attacks.
Yes.
And now the reason why you don't run Sludge Bomb, like even though I really wanted to, is because Pollen Puff is broken with Ice Rider and Kyogre because both gain benefit from getting HP back because it maintains your Water Spout damage, and then it just allows Ice Rider to last forever in the Trick Room, takes advantage of passive board states, spores, everything. So you need Pollen Puff when it comes to like Ice Rider teams, and it felt amazing. Like just being
I'm a huge Pollen Puff guy. I'm like a massive Pollen Puff guy. In my opinion, especially because I'm used to playing really bulky teams. But again, even watching you play Gavin, just him getting to Water Spout and Pollen Puff as Kyogre back to basically full, it's a really crazy tech. And you being able to do the same thing with you and your Ice Rider, like, all right, double protect for Trick Room with my Ice Rider and my Amoonguss. I'm just going to heal back to full, right? And even like little things, right? Like Sludge Bomb is good, yes. But on a team that's so bulky, it's so helpful with recovery. But also into weird things like Brute Bonnet. Like this Pollen Puff kind of slaps.
Yes, that actually came up in my set against Justin Wan, where I forced where I forced a switch because I was threatening Pollen Puff plus like a Water Spout, and that I think got pretty close to KOing if I remember correctly. So he swapped out into like Shadow Rider because he was trying to preserve Brute Bonnet for outside of Trick Room. But yeah, that's basically it for Amoonguss. Nothing too crazy, fairly standard, but it felt like the
Rocky Helmet you felt like was the right move.
Oh yeah, Rocky Helmet is 100% the correct item. It's so good for just chipping things into range, breaking sashes, threatening Urshifus. Like I think you either run Rocky Helmet or Cobra Cloak, but Rocky Helmet.
I was going to ask you about Cobra Cloak. I'm going to ask you about that. But okay, yeah.
But just Rocky is just better for the chip because it just puts things in range of Kyogre, Ice Rider stuff, and it just felt like the right thing. Rillaboom. Trunky. This guy. So this Rillaboom has been with me since my first day 2 back in my first season.
Yeah.
I love Rillaboom. 100% of my day 2s are with this guy. By the way. And so
this is your Grimmsnarl, man.
yeah. This is my comfort mon. So like this is my comfort mon. I named him Trunky because I thought it was funny. Trunky the monkey.
Trunky the monkey, baby.
And so I thought it was funny. I changed. So the Rillabooms, like I'll get into like what the difference was I was considering before the event after I explained a little bit about it. So Rillaboom, fairly standard set, went 252 HP, like for better rolls. I hate 36 attack Adamant Rillaboom. I just think it's ass.
Tell me why it's garbage. Tell me why it's ass.
I just think you miss rolls with like Grassy Glide. I think you just get better damage with like Wood Hammer into neutral targets. I know you basically do the same damage for like super effective hits, but like it just feels way better into like neutral targets, like maintaining pressure, getting chip with U-turn. Like I've always been 116 Adamant. Like it just feels correct. Like always. You always need 4 defense in your Rillaboom. Like it just feels right. And then we kind of played around with the special defense and the speed from there. We actually had a more specially defensive Rillaboom, but then we increased the speed to outspeed Shadow Rider and Tailwind as well as.
I was going to ask you what the speed was for. I was going to ask you. It's a very unique speed, it looks like.
Yeah, it never really came up, mainly because like Rillaboom doesn't really come into the Tailwind mode that often. Like it's really mostly just for Miraidon. Like Rillaboom is probably like Rillaboom next to Jugulis was probably the least brought mon of the event, but it felt like it was the correct mon. Like I needed to bring it into like into Miraidon matchups.
You needed it. You needed it. Volcarona for me. I only bring Volcarona against like CSR Pagos or Zamazenta. That's your Rillaboom. When I play Miraidon or another rain team, that Trunky the monkey's coming.
Yes, it also gave like the team a very unique way of playing, which it gave it like a pseudo balance mode. So you're able to go like balance with like Ice Rider, Amoonguss, Rillaboom with like either like Kyogre or Urshifu, or you leave the Ice Rider for the Kyogre and then have like Urshifu and Kyogre, right? And so it just like it just made the team play in a way that I really liked, where I could be extremely flexible depending on the matchup. And like Rillaboom's just like a comfort mon too. Like I know like everything that it does into the damage rolls. I know like how people like to play into it and stuff. So it just felt like the correct mon. I was considering dropping it like the day before the tournament.
This is where
I would have personally loved it if he dropped it because it would have made my matchup a lot easier.
Yeah.
I personally want to hear. So, what was? I mean, I want everyone in the comments right now to comment what Pokemon you guessed you think that Rillaboom was before. I don't think you're gonna guess it. I'll give him a second.
Am I able to say it, or are you saying like? Okay, so I was talking over with my friend Andrew, and we were like, "Hey, the like Rillaboom doesn't feel like it's doing too much, because like into the MDB stuff, we found like another way because like it felt like Rillaboom was more of a hindrance in that matchup because it's like slower fake out, it just gets blown up, it's not doing much."
Yes, and by the NDB team, he's talking about the Michael Kelch team that won regionals, which is a really strong team, and their Incineroar was max speed Jolly, which is about 124 stats. So I'm just giving them some context. You can continue though.
Yeah. And so like and we were like, okay, like it doesn't feel like it's doing too much. Can we put something else there? And Andrew was like, why don't we put like Annihilate? And because like we get coaching, Final Gambit's broken because it just ignores screens. You get like Defiant. Like you have Shadow Claw to threaten Okos on Shadow Riders, or like do like 60% through to like Lunala through Shadow Shield, pressuring Terra. You get U-turn for the pivot to like get in rain, like fast pivot. So it's like, oh, something happens, pivot, get it in. And so it sounded really good in theory. But like I didn't feel like I wanted to get more games in with it before I could feel like confident with it. But it was like the day before the tournament.
The day before the tournament,
and I almost locked it in, and then my dad stopped me, and he's like, "What are you doing? Don't do that, really." And I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I don't know if I'm making the right call." And he's like, "Stick with comfort. Rillaboom is like your mon."
Your dad's a member of the McFree University, bro. He must be. I'm always one. Comfort is the key. Like for you, especially in this tournament, why try to like? It's like again, you have had experience something for so long. I am not trying to bring something different the night before that I had almost no experience with. The worst case scenario is way worse than the worst case of you bringing Rillaboom. And
100%. But it's like it's easy to like fall into that like trap sometimes, right? Because like stress can really get to you, and like, am I making the right choice? Like I remember before EUIC, I was debating so much on my Raging Bolt. Like, should I run Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, yada, yada, yada. I ended up running Dragon Pulse because it was the more consistent option and changed to like a bulkier spread, and it worked out. But it's really easy to like stress out and like focus on the little details rather than the whole picture.
It's true. It's really true.
Because Annihilate does change the dynamics of the team a lot. I lose the balance mode. The team becomes a lot more offensive and read heavy, more than it already is. Yeah. So I ended up sticking with Rillaboom, and I'm super glad I did. It came in clutch so many times throughout the tournament. And like, I'm just happy I stuck with it. And like, it just made the team feel like so much stronger, like as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I look at it too, it's like, with what you go with Rillaboom, it enables almost all of your Pokemon. You get Fake Out. You have this terrain that helps your Calyrex, your Amoonguss. And the big thing that I noticed for myself too is the moment that I started performing very well in regionals was when I stopped doing 4 a.m. night before the tournament changes.
Yeah.
Right? And for a lot of players,
don't do those.
Don't do those, please. And for those of you who are watching, listen to this for a second, because what he's saying is so true. If you want to perform well at these regionals and you want to truly pilot your team to the best of its ability, how are you, just think about it, how are we supposed to pilot something that's brand new that changes the entire dynamic just because in theory it might be better?
Yeah, because coaching plus Ice Rider is broken. Like that that's a fact, right?
It's true. Hey, I did it in Milwaukee, man. I had the scarf for
so it's like, but like stick with comfort, stick with what you built, right? And have confidence in your team, right? So like that was it for Rillaboom, like my personal goat. Then we go on to the second restricted, Kyogre.
Say it like this, Michael, bro. Say it properly.
I connect. Yeah, I love that. I love that, man. I'm a big Michael Kelch fan.
Me too, man. That is my brother, man. I love Michael.
So I had to name him I Connect because it was just like it was too funny. Like my mom loves Michael Durbesti as well. So like when I told her I named my Kyogre that, she thought it was so funny.
She loved it.
and so but yeah, so the Kyogre, it obviously needed like the Splash Blade / Mystic Water just for like the boosted damage. So we were actually debating on the Terra a bit. We were thinking either Poison, Grass, or Electric. So Poison gets the benefit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Poison gets the benefit of being better into Zamazenta and Koraidon.
Yes.
But it has a worse matchup into Shadow Rider, right? And
Yeah,
then it's also like, and like you're not maintaining a Surging Strikes resist if you Terra. You're not resisting electric type moves either. So like Miraidon's still doing like 50%, like even off of terrain with like.
I think
like
Poison is the worst. At least on this archetype of team, I think Poison is probably the third on that rank.
Yes, I would put it on the third. I think it could work. I just think it's worse than the other options. But then Electric was proposed to like get boosted Thunders, which I'll explain why we had Thunder, which actually Blake ended up bringing and he top cut with it. So I think that's a very viable option.
Knocking me out.
Which sucked. I hate the team kill, bro. But Electric, which I think is like solid, but I think the best one's Grass. So the reason why I think Grass is the best one is it combos well with Amoonguss. Like you prevent Spore, like you resist Surging Strikes and electric attacks because it combos perfectly with water. You switch off all your previous weaknesses. You don't gain like any. Like you switch off all your previous weaknesses. You don't like really maintain anything. Like it has like perfect defensive synergy. So it just felt it felt correct in my mind when we like worked on the team. So Grass definitely felt like the right option. Now to get to the spread.
Yeah, so this looks very interesting. So I want to hear.
Andrew made this spread off vibes, and I stuck with it, and it was broken. Kyogre just kept living on like slivers of HP, which puts so much pressure on the opponent because I could lock in one more Hydro Pump, one more Thunder, Protect to stall like a turn of Trick Room or something to get it back up. The bulk felt really, really, really good. Like I was tanking special hits like so much with the higher HP stat. And then like the defense was just good for like close combat rolls and stuff. And we knew we needed to hit the bump. Like at least minimum 156 modest for ranges because you're two-shotting most like resisted hits like that aren't like crazy bulky like for example like Zamazenta, right? But like you're just two-shotting most Miraidon, like you're doing 50% to Terapagos through Terra Shell. But yeah, so one of the reasons why we kept a lower speed was for it to function better in and out of Trick Room.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, it looks very slow because Kyogre's base speed stat is not that high.
It was helpful and a hindrance at the same time. It changes how the team functions, but like that's where like the ideas of having like hidden EVs like comes in. Like that's where the best of 3 open team sheets like very important, right? Because even though the opponent can see your moves, they don't know your spreads, right?
Yeah.
So most people are gonna
live a bulk. Yep.
Right. Most people are going to assume this Kyogre is like max speed, right? And it's like really fast. But we only put like enough speed to outpace most Terapagoses, most Rillabooms. Most Incineroar besides MDBs, which was like super annoying. But because like because it got like the fast pivot, like it could knock off the Mystic Water, like it could tear grass to ignore the Rage Powders, right? Like just reducing damage. So it's just like it was really annoying, but like the speed felt really good in terms of like the information game. It felt better in the Trick Room mode, in and out of Trick Room. Like I was underspeeding Lunalas in Trick Room, which was like
a lot of Lunalas I've noticed were really trying to outspeed like that Incineroar. I've been seeing a lot of Lunala as of late, especially at the tournament. A lot of the Lunala that I was playing against, they were really not bulky, and a lot of my friends who were saying, "Yo, I ran into almost max speed Lunala in these top tournament rounds." So I've noticed that as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It just felt like it comboed better with the tailwind and the Trick Room mode and like just maintaining pressure. Like, do I definitely wish in some scenarios it was faster, like in my set with like Gavin Michaels, for example, or just like in general, like in certain matchups, right? Because like maybe like I'm in a board state where it's like, damn, I really wish I could move first so I could click Water Spout, like and like just chunk something. But now I'm taking like chip damage from like a Moongeist Beam or something, which really doesn't do too much with this spread. But it felt like the right spread for the tournament, and I was very happy with it. Water Spout, necessary, obviously. Like if you're running Kyogre, not running Water Spout, you're throwing. It's like actually so broken.
And I think after that is where you have 2 really unique picks because every Kyogre, in my opinion, that we have seen entering this tournament are always Origin Pulse, Ice Beam. Every single one. And I
if
can't
you're
find them on the team sheet.
if you are not running Hydro Pump in Regulation I, you are throwing. Like, actually, I know it has lower accuracy than Origin Pulse, but it's so good. Like, just being able to like do almost the same damage as a water spout, like only just a little bit less.
Yeah.
And then just being able to like blow up a slot, like even into resisted hits. This is actually one of the reasons why we didn't run Ice Beam.
Okay.
Even into like resisted hits, Hydro Pump is doing just about the same as a super effective Ice Beam.
Wow.
So like it was better. So it just felt like the right move. It's better for wide guard mons. Like you're just maintaining pressure, and it just feels good to have.
Wide guard is absolutely massive, and that's
right.
I can only imagine how powerful that is.
Right, and then just having like a strong single target water move is just so good. I wish Kyogre got Weather Ball so it doesn't feel like I'm gonna have like a heart attack
every time you click it. I know.
But it's really good because a lot of the pals are going like Lorb right now, so you can just like if Zama's in a wide guards or something, and you just click Hydro Pump, you just Oko it, and it just felt like really good. It just sucks when you miss, which luckily I didn't miss because I named mine I Connect. I actually didn't miss a single pump the whole tournament.
That's pretty goated. That's pretty goated.
Which was like huge. But yeah, and then lastly, the reason why we did Thunder was because it was better into the Miraidon matchup overall. Because
I'm curious, how so?
Because so first off, you get to if you like leave behind Rillaboom, which sometimes in that matchup you do, have to leave behind Rillaboom. You're able to click Thunder on electric terrain with a mon with 150 base special attack. You're just using their own electric terrain against them. The first 30% para chance is disgusting. That actually won me one of my games like on the spot because I got like the 30% para chance from the Thunder. And then it's all changes. Right, and then it also combos well with the Ice Rider to like once again like just punish the water types, which I know there's a lot of ways to punish water types on the team, but it just felt like just really good. Like
water is the most common terror against the common meta right now, and you have so many. You have like 4 different ways you're punishing it. Like it's so valuable.
So it just felt like the correct move, and then obviously like you need Protect, right? Because like that's the most value. Like I think Assault Vest is not a good Kyogre set this format.
Tell me why.
I feel like just having Protect is so valuable because like it allows you to better position your Kyogre. It allows you to take less, not less damage with your Kyogre, but like it like I said, preserve. Right.
Having the Protect allows you to inherently take less damage. You're not wrong for that.
Right. Yeah. So it allows you to do that. But it also just like it enables like more calls, more reads,
you make your opponent play games a lot more
right.
Whereas meanwhile, you can just pin me into certain things, and you don't want that to be the case.
It also like just having like the Mystic Water or the Splash Plate like just does so much damage. Like it just feels way better. Like it just like way better than Assault Vest. Like I don't see a reason to run really Assault Vest, maybe on a very specific team where it's like necessary, but just having like Protect with the Mystic Water or Splash Plate just feels correct.
Love it.
So that's it for Kyogre. Next up we have Shido, the Urshifu. Shido. I Persona 5 reference. I won't spoil anything if anyone gets the P5 reference. You're a real one. But what's it called? So Urshifu, Life Orb, right? Not a super common item on Urshifu.
Yeah, I've only seen it on one team, and it was the Stefan Mott, Andy Lonergan Rain team from like San Antonio a while back.
That's where I stole it from. So so when we were building the team, originally we had Splash Plate and Mystic Water, right? Because they're 2 different items. So you can have it on Kyogre and Urshifu. So we knew we wanted a boosting item on Urshifu because we wanted it to work well in the Tailwind and the Tricker mode. But we didn't want banned because once again, Protect is so valuable, right? Like if you look on the team, 5 of the mods out of the 6 has Protect. So the Urshifu was so the reason why I made it Life Orb is because like after sitting on it, I was like, yo, Andrew, why don't we just run Life Orb to like get increased damage and rain and then also get boosted CCs because it's broken. And he's like, yeah, that actually sounds really good. Like, what made you think of that? And I'm like, well, I remembered Stefan Mott's team and like this is fairly similar. Like we just have Ice Rider over like basically Zarina in a way. Like Zarina has become the Amoonguss and the Ice Rider. Like and the Ice Rider is also the Chen Pao in a way.
Yeah,
so
you get a whole
it was just,
too. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, why don't we just run Life Orb? And then we started running Calcs, and it just felt like insane. Like the damage difference was crazy. And then we were like, we can run like a really goofy, like bulky spread on the Urshifu that's unique, and we could run less attack.
Yeah, because this spread is funky. I'm gonna be honest. And because
okay. So first off,
yeah.
Earlier in testing, we had a way bulkier, slower Urshifu. Like we had like 4 EVs in speed. But after like testing it some more, we found we wanted it to outspeed max speed in Incineroar. So we we did 1 point higher than people speed creeping max speed in Incineroar. So like what I mean is like a lot of people were speed creeping max speed in Incineroar because of MDB's team. So we went 1 point higher to speed creep their speed creeping.
That happened to me too, man. Michael ran 73 speed Calyrex Ice or 74 speed. So I assumed people would run 74 and 75. Then I knew the really good players would run 76. So I ran 77. And I outsped every Calyrex I played in the tournament by 1 or 2 every single time. And they were always shocked. So I could
that makes sense. But yeah, so we did that. Then it was kind of funny because this was before the MDB Urshifu spread was revealed. Like this is when we were like tweaking around because I knew the Instant was max speed before the paste was released, just based on like watching the games with it.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because I'm like, all right, let's like take out of HP. We'll make it optimized for Life Orb chip, so we get an extra turn of Life Orb chip. And then let's just do special defense dump because then we keep the same rolls with the special defense. And it was so funny because it ended up being the same defensive profile as the MDB banded Urshifu.
Wow.
Which I thought was funny. So this Urshifu defensive spread is broken. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Tell me how.
Okay. It eats Astral Barrages for breakfast. Like it's actually disgusting. Like when we were playing like Shadow Riders and testing, they would click like Astral Barrage. It would do like a little bit over 50%, and then you just OHKO them with Life Orb Surging Strikes. Which was like nuts. And then it helped into like just random little rolls. Like you like if like like for example in our set, right? When you're Miraidon click Draco Meteor, right? And it went down to -2. Normally, you still OHKO Urshifus on terrain, right? You clicked Draco Meteor, it did like 75%.
Yeah, you ate it very well. You ate it very well.
And I still have like a comfortable amount of HP to like still utilize my Urshifu to like a larger extent. So it's like that bulk felt so good through the tournament. And we knew we needed to hit at least the second bump for attack on Urshifu. So that's the reason why it's 156. Now, the other reason why for Lorb was for the Terapagos matchup, right? So even at -1, which if you are like with this spread, like let's say you attack into bold, like standard Terrastellar Terapagos, you are doing like 80 to 94%, right? Without Intimidate. With Intimidate, you are still doing like 50 to 60% of its HP. So like in certain end games, like it came up and it was like really crucial. And it felt way better in the rain with the Surging Strikes, picked up like slightly higher rolls than Mystic Water ever could. Because I'm very familiar with Life Orb after running CSR with Life Orb for so long. So I know how crucial just having that extra 0.1 over like spell tag is. Like for example, like for a comparison. So like it just felt like the correct item for the team, and it just felt like insanely strong, and the spread was just so good.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just makes sense, right? You have these 3 attacks. You want to have that damage, and you're allowed to be like the bulk you have with fake again. Like this, people think, oh, Life Orb, Life Orb's throwing, but you have a Rillaboom, your whole Rillaboom on your team.
Yep, it offsets everything. You have Pollen Puff, like you have so many ways of getting HP back. And like honestly, the chip wasn't like super noticeable. Like I always felt like my Urshifu, like it was eating a hit and then taking a KO in return, or doing like 75%. Or like my opponent would think, oh, I'm gonna kill this Urshifu, and then it like lives on a sliver, does like 75%, setting it up in range for Ice Rider or like Kyogre to pick up. And like it was just like GG's from there.
Yeah, and I think the bulk I like about it too, because a lot of the time you can just get a quick KO or if it gets a free switch in and you've done so much damage already with your Kyogre or with your Ice Rider, that nothing can really KO it in one turn unless it's hitting it for super effective. And you're getting that absolute nuke when it comes in for free, at least one attack, which is always usually at least one. So I loved it. Against me, it gave me hell. Every time it came in for free against when I was playing.
It felt insane all tourney. Like it was so good. But now moving on to the last one, we have Warranty, the Iron Jugulis. It made me wish I named my Kyogre Liability, so I could have Liability and Warranty. But I wanted I Connect because it's too funny.
And it worked. All your things actually worked. Like your Araman Trout, whatever it's called, like the good luck actually came through.
Urban Trout's a reference to Breaking Bad for those who don't know.
Yeah, that got you there with good luck. And then I Connect, you did not miss a single Hydro Pump. So guys, maybe nickname your Pokemon things that you want to happen with their involvement. So
I know a lot of people go with like a nicknaming theme. I just nickname them whatever I want because I like them, and then I grow like an attachment to them.
Yeah, as you should, man, as you should.
Iron Jugulis, this one is also going to be like pretty short and sweet because it's not too complex. It's mostly just a Snarl bot, and then it's also a Tailwind Mon, right?
So break down why it's here, what it does, what do these.
So Iron Jugulis cracked the team wide open. Andrew in the early phases of the team before even Milwaukee had Roaring Moon there. Then he put Iron Jugulis. This Mon is so good, at least right now. Yeah. It single-handedly 1v1s the CSR Terapagos matchup. Handedly. It is so good because Snarl is so good for Shadow Rider because you just shut it down. You scare it off of lead from opposing from teams, right? Because you either force a Terra or like a Protect. Like they never want to lead it. And then it also Hurricane is so strong in the rain. Yeah. It's good for breaking the balance bros. Just good for like chunking Mons like into range. Like you can do like Hurricane into Hydro Pump, like kill a Zama. Because usually Zamas have like enough bulk now to like tank a pump, which is disgusting. But like just a neutral pump, which I was like, ugh. But yeah, so Jugulis really like changed the dynamics of the team as a whole, gave it like the tail room mode, which just felt really good. And it just improved a ton of matchups overall, and it made CSR Pagos like free. I played it 3 times during the tourney. There was 2 times where it almost seemed like I was like in a losing position because the Terapagos got so many boosts or whatever, and I still won because like the team has such a good matchup into it. Like with like the Urshifu and the Ice Rider and just like the pressure that it has on like the balanced goons. And so I'm gonna get into the spread. So
let's do it.
Almost max HP is, so the HP in the defense is for surging strikes and rain. So if like an Urshifu doesn't have like Terra Water, for context, it's only like normal Urshifu. So no like boosting item like Mystic Water.
Like mine, like Sash Urshifu, always.
Yeah, like Sash Urshifu, right? Or Scarf Urshifu, right? If they click surging strikes into you into rain, you're living. And then before we actually had a really fast Jugulis, like it had way more speed. But then I told Andrew, I was like, why don't we take out a speed and just put like bulk and special attack? And so we took out a speed, so that way it outspeeds Scarf Urshifu and Tailwind, or it was like Scarf Landorus, not Tailwind. It outspeeds Scarf Landorus.
Hey,
I'm still here. So it outspeeds Scarf, Lando, and Tailwind with booster. So that was the idea. Even though Scarf Lando wasn't common, like you never know. Like someone could have brought it as like a meta call or something.
Yeah, and like Chi-Yu as well. But with Chi-Yu, you're not worried because your whole team gets like Urshifu.
Yeah, it just destroys it. So what's the only other Mon that they're going to bring into like Scarf Lando, right? So I was like,
kind of water.
So we needed to like minimum outspeed that. So then we put into special defense to have better rolls to live Moonblast from the bulky Flutter mains that were on those Terapagos teams. Because they don't invest much special attack because a lot of them go max speed because they're trying to at least win the speed tie against like the Sash Flutter mains. So we wanted to like have a good roll into like 36 like special attack investment Flutter main, which is like pretty common. And then we just special attack dumped, like nothing too specific, just it felt really good during the tournament just for like certain rolls. It felt like I could do Hurricane into Water Spout and Rain and kill like a bulky Rillaboom, for example. which this Jugulis missed like its first 3 hurricanes
Out of
in day
range.
1, which sucked, but I guess that's the warranty.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
you had some nice thunder wake up grid. That was pretty electric.
yeah, that was funny. But yeah, like this Mon was so good. I actually think it's so slept on. Like I think you can like put it on like a variety of different teams and like it works. It's just so good with rain and it just makes Terapagos McFree. It does. And so like that's the team. It felt amazing. Everything synergizes with each other when it transitions from the trick room to the Talon mode or the Talon mode to the trick room mode.
Yeah.
It just felt really, really strong and it felt like the right meta call for this tournament.
Yeah, and I think clearly it was. I mean, looking at the top performing teams, and we see 2 Kyogres in the top 3. You also had a whole team building group playing with a similar team as you. And if I can go here, I think it's called Top Cut Explorer.
Yeah, Top Cut Explorer. Yeah.
Going here. So you guys know this is where if you guys are watching, you guys can use these resources yourself to learn a little bit more. So
I have it saved on my phone.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Yeah.
So
you can just type in Iron Jugulis and you'll probably just see our team.
Oh, yeah, good idea. There you go. Whoops. Let's go Iron Jugulis. And then look.
Yeah.
Look at this, guys. This is the same team.
Sadly, Benji didn't get in there, but Benji Kearney worked with us as well. But yeah, we had me, Blake, which Blake had like very slight differences. I believe he ran 1 point faster on his Cali because he wanted to cover for speed creep on on Urshifus. Like he wanted to outspeed things that were outspeeding Urshifus, which we were like, okay, that's your choice. He also ran high horsepower over Seed Bomb because that's what he was comfortable with. And then he ran Terra Electric on his Kyogre because like he thought Thunder like with the boost was like super funny.
And it's so much harder to deal with when you have Cali Ice Miraidon because like okay, electric Bolt Beam into grass and water is perfect, but not electric.
Yeah, it just like it was just like super strong. My buddy Jonathan actually lost. He was 5-1, and then he lost the last 2 rounds. Sadly, he lost the winning into your friend Dominic Vogel.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which I finally got to meet him. I finally got to meet Dominic, which was super nice. But
shout out Dom. I know Dom's watching.
Yeah. So it was nice to meet him, but I was like, you had to knock out my friend.
Yeah. Hey, you got your get back on me, bro. You're Blake knocked my ass out.
Yeah, so which sucked. And then as you can see, Andrew brought the Annihilate version, which he got close to like getting it today too, but he had some very like slight changes. Icicle Crash Cali was one of them, which he wanted to just hit like he just wanted to take full advantage of the Never Melt Ice, which I was like, it makes some sense, but I would prefer to have like Seed Bomb or high horsepower or something along those lines. But yeah, that's the team overall, and that was the team building group. It felt so good for this tourney. Like it was insane.
Yeah, and then I guess one thing I want to do before we go into your run is here where is it? I believe the rental code is here. So everyone who's watching, I'm gonna also put it in the comments. So let me know if you guys want to play this team. Also, comment what you think about his spreads. I'm sure some of you are, have opinions about his team, how it did, and it really was amazing. And that's why, Cary went on to go top 4, and which is absolutely insane. And this is the run where let's zoom in.
This was like my most stacked lineup I ever had at a tourney. Like I faced multiple regional champions. Like oh my gosh, it was. And stressful.
I see it looks like you went 8-0 in day 1. You went 9-1 into a bye week into top. Like you had a dream tournament, and you balled the fuck out. You lost only 2 sets to the regional champion. And maybe like someone who else was 8-0 as well day 1. So
there was some RNG involved with Mott. I'll get to that when I get to the.
So in my opinion, I would love to walk through every game if you don't mind, because I want to walk through this so that if someone wants to use your team, if this is not guys, we want to elevate what team reports look like to where it's not just this is the team, this is the spreads play. It's this is how I beat, and this is how I actually approach the game plans. What I did, what I would do instead of going forward, and how we can actually play against these matchups and do a good job. So we have a lot of matchups here, and we can go as fast as you'd like. There's no rush. It's totally up to you.
No problem. I have like here's the thing. I have like a freakishly good memory when it comes to by turn. Like I can remember. Like I remember sets like like from months ago. I can remember turn by turn. It's weird. But like it just like works, but it like helps me when I'm like reflecting and like looking back on games like, oh, I should have done XYZ in order to get to B. But yeah, so first matchup was Cade Bowles. This matchup was terrible. Oh my gosh, it was so bad.
I remember you were talking to me right after it ended, and you were like, "Oh my god, this was nuts."
It went to game 3. Here's the thing: Slitherwing is a monster. It is actually disgusting. Sierra Dawn was correct. So I sit down. Me and my opponent, right? Like round starts, we exchange team sheets. I'm looking at my team sheet. I'm
what
like,
is that Iron Hands too? What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, is that Slitherwing on my team sheet?
Yeah,
and I was like, and I was like, just trying to think about it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how much Life Orb First Impression is doing into my Calyrex, and I'm Terra Grass, so like no Terra is saving me.
Yeah,
and like I have to play, I have to maintain weather control and terrain control while dealing with a nuke button. So game one, I just get cooked because I didn't know my damage rolls with the Slitherwing. It was also Terra Ghost. Like I remember, like I was like, oh, I think I should like live Leech Life from Slitherwing. Like my Calyrex was like at 70%. I was like, oh, it should live. Clicks Leech Life. I like die. I'm like,
wow,
what?
Yeah.
And so game 2, I don't remember like it super well, but I remember I had a game plan. I'm like, I need to get into Trick Room. If I get into Trick Room, I can win. Because then I could spam Glacial Lance and Water Spout for the rest of the game. But what made it really annoying is he had like basically a guaranteed way to always get out of Trick Room, which is double protect first turn, swap with Groudon Slitherwing, sack the next 2, then bring in Groudon Slitherwing again, threaten first impression.
Yep.
So I'm forced to protect. Then on the last turn of Trick Room, he can always double protect and then threaten damage again the next turn.
Yeah.
So game 2, I got into the perfect position where I had Amoonguss next to Ice Rider, so I could spam Pollen Puff and Glacial Lance.
Okay.
And then had Kyogre in the back. So I just spammed Glacial Lance and then won. Game 3 was like a really bad start because turn 1, he just clicked first impression into Rillaboom and O-code it, calling my Calyrex Ice Rider Protect.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm in like a really bad spot. But then when we got into Trick Room, I was able to remove the Groudon, and we get to like the final turns.
Okay.
And we get to where it's only my Ice Rider left versus my +1 Ice Rider because I killed his Miraidon in the Trick Room.
Yeah.
And I only versus full HP Slitherwing and low HP defense boosted Iron Hands because he had the Electric Seed boost. And I knew I outsped the Iron Hands, but this was terrifying because I had a little bit of chip and I didn't know how much the Life Orb Leech Life would do because it killed me from like 75%.
Yeah.
So I just click Glacial Lance. I put my hands in Leech Life comes out. I live on 6 HP. +1 Never Melt comes out. Oko Slitherwing from full kills the Iron Hands. I win the set.
Wow.
And I was like,
oh my god.
Oh my gosh. The game plan for this one is get into Trick Room and preserve Amoonguss.
Okay.
Like Amoonguss is so important. But like the hard part is, right, is you have to play around with the Miraidon because the Miraidon could just Oko Amoonguss on terrain, right?
Almost playing like this. What are the 4 Pokemon that you're typically bringing?
I did not feel comfortable bringing Jugulis because it does nothing into the Sash Flutter main. And like what is Tailwind doing for me here?
Yeah.
Like what is Tailwind doing for me here, right? And then I didn't feel comfortable bringing Urshifu because first off, Sun, what is it doing into like Slitherwing? Like I guess it's clicking Surging Strikes. Like okay, what is it doing into Miraidon? And then defense boosted Iron Hands is just clicking Wild Charge into me, calling me, right? Like on electric terrain, because it still gets the attack boost, even with the Electric Seed boost, right? So I felt like I always had to bring Ice Rider, like Rillaboom, Amoonguss, Kyogre in like any order, in almost any order. But it's really hard because he could be flexible with his restricteds because he could always lead either Slitherwing Miraidon or Slitherwing Groudon. this felt like an almost auto loss. This was like really bad, but I was able to.
You clutched it, man. You clutched it.
Yeah,
man.
I was able to clutch it and get out of the position in order to win.
Yeah. What a round one though, man.
Yeah, no, that was stressful. I was like, geez. Then round two comes up and I'm playing.
Wow, and I'm seeing something here which is interesting. So
yeah, I'll get into that. So round two, I paired to Len Deuel. So this was a really fun matchup because he actually casted my Louisville game.
Oh wow.
So it was kind of cool. So I was like, I got to like finally like actually interact and talk with Len. And it's awesome because he actually clinched his Worlds invite with this top 8.
That's
so
hype. That is hype.
So it was like really cool. So we play, and if this matchup is basically free for this team.
It's McFree.
The only thing that makes it harder is the fact that the Ogerpon Cornerstone has Power Whip instead of Knockoff, which has been like more prominent
I've been seeing a little bit of that too. Yeah.
Right. So I kind of had to play around that. But game one, I led Ice Rider Jugulis with Kyogre, Urshifu back. He leads Rillaboom with Tropicos, and he starts spamming Calm Mind. And I start spamming Snarl and Glacial Lance. He hard switches to Incineroar turn one, which I was fine with because I'm like, okay, I'm chipping your Incineroar, and I'm breaking your Tropicos' Terra Shell. I believe he actually protected the first turn, which then he clicks Fake Out, but then I just start spamming Glacial Lance and like Snarl, and there was almost nothing he could do.
Whittling him down.
Right, and so I'm like slowly whittling him down. He's not getting any boosts, but then like one turn, I'm like, okay, I need to get Kyogre in and like get rid of this Incineroar. And there was one crucial turn where I called him to hard switch out Rillaboom into Incineroar. Yeah. Like to calling the double protect because he had Rillaboom on the board and he had like +2 Tropicos. And I just clicked Water Spout and like instant died. And I was like, oh, the game's over.
It's over now. Yeah.
Because now Urshifu threatens the Oko. Like Urshifu can come in, threaten the Oko and Tropicos and like just click close combat. So we get to a turn where he has boosted Tropicos next to Rillaboom and I don't know his back mod. And I double sack. I lose Jug and Kyogre, and I get Ice Rider Urshifu on the board. And I'm like, I think I just win here. Because even if he has so like I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, okay, he's never played this matchup before. I think he has Shadow Rider in the back because he's been like, because if he had Amoonguss, he would have brought it out by now.
Brought it in on certain turns where exactly.
Like to threaten Spore and stuff. So on this turn, I click Terra Grass Shifu. CC into the Tropicos. Even if he switches in Shadow Rider, it's fine because I don't take the defense traps then. So that turn, I click Terra Grass CC Trick Room so I can set up my Trick Room. I CC kill the Tropicos. He doesn't switch. He Wood Hammers. I take a majority of my HP, but now we get Trick Room up, and I see he sends Shadow Rider out, and I know the game's over.
Yep.
So on that turn, I click Glacial Lance Protect on Urshifu because theoretically he could win by getting a crit Grassy Glide into crit single target Astral Barrage.
Yep.
So I protect Glacial, kill Rillaboom, get it in range of Aqua Jet. Then next turn I click Aqua Jet Glacial and it's over.
Game over, yeah.
So game two, I decide, okay, I'm just gonna lead Kyogre Jugulis because it's also a lead you can do. Because Rillaboom first turn wants to click Fake Out. Or he wants to click U-turn, right? But he has to take either a Spout or a Snarl. That's the other nice thing about Jugulis is it baits the fake outs. So like you're maintaining damage. So turn one, he fakes out Jug. I Water Spout. He doesn't Terra. By the way, if he Terras, he's still taking like 50 to 60% from Water Spout out of rain. So I click Water Spout. It does over 50% through Terra Shell and almost 50% to the Rillaboom. Wow. And I'm like,
the damage
and I'm like, I just gained infinite value here. Your Tropicos is like almost worthless. The next turn, I just like hard target Rillaboom with Hurricane Water Spout. I Terra Grass so he can't Grassy Glide me. Because like Kyogre should eat the hit still. And I just blow up Rillaboom, remove it, and then once he like lost that piece, and then like Instant came out, like there was almost nothing he could do.
Urshifu just comes in and wins the game.
Urshifu just comes in, like wins the game. Ice Rider Oko's the Amoonguss, and then like with our spread, we should always tank like a star, like a boosted Starstorm. So it was like once I knew I removed one of the fake out guys because once you remove one of their cyclers, like they just can't like get enough momentum back. Because he dropped Shadow Rider for Amoonguss game 2, so it was just So as soon as he as soon as that happened, the game was over. Like it was a very quick set. Like it happened with
5 minutes. See you later. Which for this team, everyone knows that when you play against this team, is known for taking historically long. So
not for this team. When me and Len played in Top Cut, we finished the game like the whole set before Aaron Brok's first streamed game. Like not even set was done for like top 8. Like it was fast.
Wow.
Like this team has like such an absurdly good matchup into this.
So into the matchup, just real quick. What do you? If someone's playing against us with your team, they should always.
You always lead Jugulis, no matter what. You lead Jugulis plus either Kyogre. Ice Rider is better to the Rillaboom lead, which a lot of the times more unfamiliar players will be scared to bring Incineroar, which they should usually always bring Incineroar, in my opinion, because it's actually good. It's good, in a way, right? Like it's better into the matchup because I'm never melt. And so the idea is just to use Kyogre to blow up the board, because at the end of the day, boosts don't matter once they start getting water spouted. Even at +1, and they Terra out of rain or something, you're still doing 50% to them.
There's a lot.
It just adds up. Jugulis Hurricane threatens so much on the Rillaboom. The other thing is they're also nerfing their Rillaboom if they Terra, because then they just remove grassy terrain, so then you're not afraid of the priority. They don't feel comfortable bringing Shadow Rider because of Snarl. It's just the only scary piece on this team genuinely is the Ogerpon Cornerstone. And even then, Len didn't bring it in our first set, which in my opinion is a little bit of a throw. But even then, it's not that scary, because you turn 1, you can most of the time they just gun down the Jugulis. That's actually one of the reasons why we went Terra Steel. Because it creates that mind game once again. Because it's if I just Terra Steel Jug and you click Cudgel and I click Snarl Glacial Lance, I get a free +1.
And it's
and then my Ice Rider's ready to sweep, and it's or I click Tailwind Spout, do 50%, bring the Ogerpon down to Sash. You have to play the mind game if I Terra or not, right? Because if you click Power Whip into me, and I Terra Grass, you do no damage. So. Plus, they want to remove the Jug because it makes the
you just add so many levels of mind games and safety there,
So you always you bring both restricteds. It's either Ice Rider on lead plus Jugulis or Kyogre on lead plus Jugulis, with Urshifu always in the back with the other restricted. And then you have to play your Terra smart. That's about it. All 4 Mons can Terra in this matchup. It just depends on board state and positioning.
Got it.
But this one was a pretty quick 2-0.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, man. So next round, you're playing it again.
I played again.
Yeah.
This is the harder variant because it's Flutter main. But this guy didn't read the team sheet game 1. And he also didn't bring Incineroar game 1. He didn't realize my Cali Ice was never built. So he defensively swapped in his Flutter expecting to live because he had Rillaboom out. And I clicked Glacial Lance, O-code it, got +1 and just swept from there. And then game 2, I called him to bring Incineroar on lead. So I led Kyogre Jug, and he led Incineroar Flutter main, which just had negative pressure. And I was just okay, I could just spout for the rest of the game. Which that's the thing. You always have to lead Terapagos. Otherwise, you get no momentum because then Urshifu just
especially,
Yeah, so this one was another pretty quick 2-0. Just it just also game 2, the Jug spread came in clutch because he clicked Moonblast into it, and it lived pretty comfortably. I was just able to get off another Hurricane or Snarl. And once again, this team has such an absurdly good matchup into the CSR Pago stuff.
Yeah, and that's what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like you didn't have to honestly sweat it that much. It's hey, if I can just read the team sheet, not make mistakes, I'll win the matchup.
Yeah, when I saw this, I smiled. I was I'm chilling. This is what the team was made for. Then I played Erik Holmstrom. So me and Holmstrom actually played before at San Antonio for the win and for day 2.
We've been seeing. I've been seeing this team. This core pop up a little bit.
Yes, dual terrain Miraidon, I actually think is really good. Mainly because it guarantees you always get terrain control. Also, Rillaboom's just a nice mon. The only thing I don't like about it is once again you're just actively nerfing the other. So it's Miraidon really likes electric terrain, right? And Rillaboom really likes grassy terrain. So then Rillaboom loses a lot of its pressure when it loses grassy terrain. So does Miraidon. So I kind of played around with that. Game 1, he gets like a big I lead Kyogre Jug, and he lead with like Amoonguss Ice Rider back, and he leads Urshifu Rillaboom. He fakes out Jug and commits Terra turn 1 on Urshifu to kill the Jugulis.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's like a huge overcommit. Oh no, he led Incineroar, not Rillaboom, sorry.
Okay.
And that was like a huge overcommit. And I'm just able to get off like a massive water spout.
Yeah.
And I almost OHKO the Urshifu, but it like lives on a sliver.
Yeah.
And Rillaboom comes out, and I have to like play some like positioning games. But then we get into a position where like the Miraidon crits the Dragon Pulse into my Kyogre, and I lose because I'm not able to get into it.
Okay.
Because I'm not able. Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't crit the Dragon Pulse. He crits the U-turn on my Kyogre, so then it becomes like worthless. And I'm like, oh, I just like lose the game now. GG's. Because I just couldn't recover. I didn't have Ice Rider back. I had Urshifu. And then that's when I realized I need to bring Ice Rider.
Okay.
Because I was afraid to bring Ice Rider because of the Incineroar.
Yeah. Incineroar, you have some wide Darsh.
Like it just seemed like really hard to bring it. But then like game 2 and 3, like it was like crucial. So that's when I realized I had to bring Ice Rider.
Okay.
So then game 2, I lead the same lead. He leads Rillaboom, Urshifu, and once again he just like doubles the Jugulis.
Yeah.
And no, he actually fakes out Jugulis, surgings the Terra Stellar CCs the Kyogre.
Okay.
And I just Thunder remove his Urshifu.
You always live that, and you always live this Terra Stellar close combat.
Yeah. I always lived it. And so I just Thundered, like, OHKO'd his Urshifu turn 1. And I'm like, okay, you're down Terra. And, like, I'm in, like, a great position. And then he, like, Incineroar Miraidon in the back. I'm like, I just win if I get a Amoonguss next to Ice Rider and I just spam Glacial Lance. So, like, the game, and so like a little bit of repositioning from there, like I start spamming Hurricane into like the left slot to like pressure the Rillaboom to switch out and start chunking things. And then that's when I knew like the game was over. Game 3, I knew Lunala was coming no matter what.
Okay.
And so I decided I'm gonna create like the best lead possible. So I lead Kyogre Ice Rider, and then I
was gonna guess that. I was gonna guess that's what you
and I had a
Rillaboom Lunala.
I went full balance mode.
Yeah.
And I just start clicking Glacial Lance, Water Spout, and like he had to react. There was a turn when his like Lunala lived on like 1 HP, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
And he clicked Moonblast, calling a switch because he thought Jugulis was in the back. And I hard switched out my Ice Rider into because it was like low HP and he was trying to cover for a defensive switch, and I switched it into Amoonguss. Okay. And since he didn't click Moongeist, my Amoonguss had enough HP to live the Dragon Pulse on terrain. That was the other thing that changed his matchup. He had Dragon Pulse.
Yep.
So my Amoonguss was able to like live on like 4 HP, which once again that's where like the spread came in clutch. And
that literally won you the match.
Yeah, it won me the match. I was just able to like spam Spout, and then I just got like Ice Rider next to Kyogre once again, and like the game was over. It was Erik. I always think our sets are fun. And it was nice to see him again. So this one was a fun one.
Yeah, if someone's playing against this team, with your team, how do you think they should lead? What module?
Cut out.
Yep. Hello. You're frozen on my screen. Give me 1 sec.
Hello. You cut out.
Let me see.
Yep. All right, we're back.
There we go. I was saying if someone's playing against against this team with your team, how should they approach it? What mon should they bring? What should they leave at home? Like, what advice do you have?
I think almost any mon can come.
Yeah.
I think both restricteds need to come.
Okay.
Because you need because first off, what makes this matchup like far easier in my mind is that there's no wide guard. So you can just spam Spout or spam Glacial.
Yeah.
I really liked, but like into this matchup, go balance mode. Like you have to bring either like Amoonguss, Rillaboom, or both. Urshifu is an option, but I liked having Amoonguss and Rillaboom because it gave me the most flexibility. Allowed me to reposition with like Regenerator, maintain terrain control.
Is one sport. So if you can Amoonguss, Rillaboom really well, you can put his whole team to sleep.
Exactly. So it was just like he had almost negative pressure like a majority of the time. The only scary part was like the Lunala.
Yep.
And then like the Miraidon in some spots. But once again, like due to it having Dragon Pulse, like it lost a lot of that fear factor.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Love that. So let's keep it moving here. What we have next? You beat
I think.
Shit, man.
So I got so this matchup was interesting. This is actually a matchup I've been thinking about for a while.
Of course he was.
Well, no, because like when I saw your team, Top Cut Milwaukee, I was like, this is disgusting. Like this is like gross. And I'm like, I hate Leech Seed Ice Rider. It was sweet. It's such bullshit. Yeah. And I was like, that's nasty. And so I was like, okay, so I talked with Carney, who played you earlier in the tournament.
So Carney got all my fucking speed tier.
And so I was like, Carney, I need you to give me like the rundown. Like, what did he bring into you?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, he led like Grimmsnarl, Ice Rider, and like that didn't work out. And then he adjusted to Miraidon Ice Rider, and that felt like trickier to deal with. But I always led Rillaboom Kyogre, and it felt really good. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I'll just bring Rillaboom Kyogre with like Urshifu Ice Rider back to maintain offensive pressure.
Yeah.
So going into the set, I figured you were probably going to lead Miraidon Ice Rider. So game 1, you led Miraidon Ice Rider. I led Rillaboom Kyogre.
Yep.
I figured you were probably just going to swing with Ice Rider, but I'm like, that's fine. If he does Terra, then I threaten Seed Bomb and Thunder.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do Terra, then Water Spout does like infinite damage. I just clicked Fake Out Water Spout. You didn't Terra, so I was able to do like all your HP. I did 50% to the Miraidon, and you click Glacial, you got +1. But from there, I was just able to just keep spamming like basically Water Spout, Glacial Lance, and then we got to a really key turn where I called Protect on your Ice Rider, and you taunted with Urshifu.
Yeah.
And I clicked Thunder Glacial Lance to get an additional +1. Yeah. And then I believe, was it Grimmsnarl in the back? I think it was Grimmsnarl.
It might have been. Yeah.
And yeah, it was Grimmsnarl. And I knew like on the last turn, I could just click Thunder Seed Bomb, and you had to choose like a Thunder Wave slot, and like I could just kill the opposing Ice Rider from there.
Yeah.
Then game 2, you led Grimmsnarl Ice Rider, and I led Kyogre Rillaboom again. And I kind of thought I won off lead basically because I could always just fake out Ice Rider, Water Spout.
Yeah.
But then turn 1, you Terra'd the Grim, calling the fake out into Grim.
I thought you were like, there's no way he's gonna. I thought you were gonna do something cute, but yeah, it was just bad.
I just didn't see a reason to, because like if you Terra Ghost Grimmsnarl and I fake out and you just click Glacial Lance, then I lose Rillaboom, right?
Yeah.
But then the other thing was like if you click Terra Ghost, you don't have a defensive Terra on your Ice Rider anymore. So I just get to click Water Spout for free. Yep. And like Light Screen is only doing so much.
Yeah.
So like I was just able to get off like a huge Water Spout for free. Terra's down. And then once then there was a turn where I was able to switch out Rillaboom into Ice Rider to just like maintain momentum. Because I was worried you were actually gonna like Thunder Wave Glacial Lance, like get a +1.
Yeah.
And like try to be a bit cheeky. So I just like switched down to Ice Rider because I saw no punishment besides like a Thunder Wave on it. And like then I'm also threatening the Miraidon, which I know is coming in. And so it was just about maintaining board pressure and like certain pins. And then like once Miraidon came out, locked into Draco Meteor, I knew Urshifu most likely lived the Draco Meteor outside of crit, could Surging Strikes, and then I could set up Trick Room and win the game from there.
Yeah, it was just really bad. Like in general, the matchup was just really hard, I think. Also, it was just like, oh fuck, he knows how to play it now. Like he knows these little interactions that I feel like helped me in the first round, like knowing that my Cali Ice is faster and things like that. But you played well. Like I think I basically have to get every turn right a lot of the time to win this matchup. At least with the approach that I took, I tried to plan it overnight a lot. Me and Blake talked about it for a long time. The problem was I never played Blake, so he knew my exact plan.
When he showed me the matchup, I was not the matchup. When he showed me like the pairing, I was like, it sucks. I was hoping we would all cut, but then like team kill like that. I was like,
and my only 2 losses that I didn't play well were you both, because my last round that I lost, my third loss was to like unbelievable like. Unfortunate luck.
Ryan Haig, which I got revenge for you.
Thank you. Yeah. So the way I looked at it was I really lost to one team. Unfortunately, I played twice, and so I can't even be upset. But you played it great, I think. The way I looked at it too was when I was playing against you, my leads were not great, and I found a plan that actually worked well into your game plan, which
the Urshifu lead, right? Yeah,
Calyrex lead, double protect, and then I have a free switch into Miraidon on turn 2 every single time.
Yeah.
And then I can go from there. And then I have to bring hands, which I never brought hands either. So now if I do that, turn 2, now I have all the pressure. I still have my hands in the back for your Urshifu. I have so many more. And I was like, okay, I'm going to kick Blake's ass. He's going to do the same thing that you did. And he never let Rillaboom Kyogre.
Yeah, he let Amoonguss. Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? Yeah, so it was a great match. You played well. Also, I think it was done in like 15 minutes.
Yes, that one was quick.
It was McFree in some case,
right?
Yeah, man. So, I guess your advice for the matchup. Love to hear if someone's playing against my team. What would you when they do?
Just try first off, bring both restricteds. I don't think Jugulis does much here at all.
Okay.
Because you have Miraidon, you have Grimmsnarl, you have Iron Hands, you have Ice Rider. Like, what is it doing? Yeah. Like, I click Tailwind. Like, I don't want to click Tailwind. I want to click Trick Room, but even then, I don't want to click Trick Room because you have Iron Hands. So, like, the real main piece is the Kyogre to just blow up the early game, and then utilizing Ice Rider to clean up the late game after just like blowing through everything with Spout. Amoonguss and Rillaboom can come. I think Urshifu is necessary to take advantage of the rain. Also to just ignore screens, so it's like useful for like the Iron Hands, the Grimmsnarl, etc. But like it's just maintaining type pressure, because it's like I'm always maintaining damage into one type or the other. Which is the main idea of the team.
Yeah, and that's what I think you guys should do. I mean, I lost to it twice, guys. So if you want to play a team to counter team me, this is the team to use. Please don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep it going here. This is actually me, I think. Let's go. Next, Benjamin
Harlan. So this was fun. So another Tail Room Ice Rider team. Okay, so game 1, I lead Jugulis Kyogre, and he leads Whimsicott Miraidon. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna click Tailwind Water Spout. Actually, no, I clicked Hurricane Water Spout, calling a Volt Switch on my Jug or a Draco Meteor. Because I didn't think he felt comfortable locking into an electric move into Kyogre. So I just clicked Hurricane Water Spout because I didn't want to click Tailwind, because I realized, hold up, if I set Tailwind, then Trick Room is like instant win. So then so I just click Water Spout Hurricane. He clicks Tailwind, Volt switches off the Jug, brings in Urshifu. I do 80% to the Whimsicott, and then bring Urshifu down to Sash. And right there, I knew the game was basically over, because then my Ice Rider comes in, I Terra Grass, I Trick Room, and I just Spout again. He Wicked Blows the Ice Rider. And I'm like, that's fine. I have Urshifu in the back, and I have my Kyogre still here. And I'm in Trick Room. So now I just click Glacial Lance, Water Spout.
And then Surging Strikes 2 later. So it was
Surging Strikes in the end game. Game two, I tossed. I clicked. So I had Rilla Kyogre with Ice Rider Urshifu back. I got like a huge lead once again. Like just because he led Whimsicott Miraidon again, I just clicked Fake Out Water Spout, like, and he set up Light Screen. And I just did so much damage. I called Encore in the Rillaboom the next turn, and I hard switched into my Ice Rider, and I Terra Grassed, and he Volt switched off off the Kyogre. And once again, I'm just like clicking buttons, doing big damage, and we get to an end game because he makes like a really good play in the Trick Room, and he clicks Knockoff and High Horsepower into my Ice Rider to pick it up, because I had a little bit of chip. I forget when. So he's able to pick it up and gets a +1. And we get to a board state where it's like the last turn of Trick Room. All he has left is Miraidon and low HP Ice Rider. And I have Terra Grass, full HP Kyogre. I have Rillaboom in the back, full HP, and low HP Lorb Urshifu. And I could protect on Urshifu, and I couldn't protect on Kyogre because I protected on the previous turn. This is where I threw. I thought Trick Room was over. This is why it's always important to slow down.
Yeah.
And I just double attacked. And then I saw Calyrex Ice move first. And I was like, uh-oh.
Lost, yeah.
And I was like, I was just like, damn, I just threw.
True, yeah. But you locked in. So you locked in.
But yeah, so then because I could have always won by sacking Kyogre, getting in Rillaboom, fake out Miraidon, CC Urshifu. I mean CC. He also locked into Gleam, so he was like doing no damage to Rillaboom when it was spread.
Oh yeah.
When it was single target, it added up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I could have always faked out Miraidon, killed Ice Rider, protect, Woodhammer, protect, like try to get a double protect, Woodhammer, and like the game would have ended.
Yeah.
But then we go into game 3.
So how are you approaching it? What do you do? I'm curious, man.
So I lead the same lead again. I lead Rillaboom Kyogre, and I just forget Farigiraf exists.
Oh.
And then he just hard switches it in, clicks Electro Drift, and I'm like, no way, I just lost Kyogre turn 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like this is why I needed to like slow down, which is like it's something I'm still working on. Like that's a thing that is hard to do with Showdown and stuff, right? Because Showdown's really fast, the game's really slow.
Yeah.
So it can be easy to like rush turns. It's something I'm still working on myself.
Yeah.
Like trying to think through turns. So I'm like, okay, I can still win this because now I have Urshifu and Rain, and I have Ice Rider, and whatever. And I also knew this: because he led Whimsicott Miraidon again, right?
Yeah.
So I knew if he led Whimsicott Miraidon, that means he left one of the other guys at home. He either left Ice Rider at home, or Incineroar at home, or Urshifu at home.
Okay.
And I assumed it's most likely Ice Rider because then the other two lose to Trick Room and also my Urshifu.
Okay.
So I play with that in mind. So I Terra Grass my Urshifu and I Surging Strikes U-turn his Farigiraf, right? He Helping Hand Electro Drifts and does like 75% to my Urshifu.
Okay.
And I was not expecting the Lord Surging Strikes to Oko the Farigiraf and Rain. I was like,
okay. Wow. Yeah.
So at Oko, I'm able to get U-turn chip. I get my Ice Rider in. Okay. Then his Ice Rider comes out because he can't bring Whimsicott out because then I get a free +2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I have to make a read here. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think he's going to attack my Urshifu. I think he's going to attack my Ice Rider because he can just click Glacial Lance and get a free +1, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to force Terra on this Ice Rider. So I'm going to click Surging Strikes plus Never Melt Glacial Lance. If he doesn't Terra Ice Rider, then he loses all of his HP. If he, what's it called? If he tears Miraidon, then I'm able to click Lord Surging Strikes into Glacial Lance, then have a Rillaboom come in, threaten Fake Out, and then also Woodhammer, and just like I had all the tools to still win the game.
Yeah.
And so I make the read. I click Surging Strikes Glacial Lance. He Terra Waters, and he Electro Drifts into my Ice Rider. Okay. And I'm like, I can still win here. So he Electro Drift Glacial Lances. My Ice Rider takes a good chunk of damage, but it should still be able to live a plus. He should be able to live a +1 Glacial Lance. Surging Strikes plus Glacial Lance brings him down to under 50%.
Okay.
And my Urshifu's gone. He's at +1. Whimsicott comes out. So I'm thinking through the turn, and I'm like, okay, I can't click Fake Out because then he.
Because his Miraidon died on that turn.
Yes, it died on that turn. So now all he has left is Whimsicott and low HP Ice Rider. And so I'm thinking it through. I'm like, if I click Fake Out, he could just click Encore into me. And I'm assuming his Ice Rider is like max speed Jolly based on the way that the team's like compromised.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna click Glide because I think I get the KO from here. And I'm gonna click Glide Glacial. So I click Glide Glacial Lance. He Tailwinds, and I'm able to pick up the KO on Whimsicott. And now with the Grassy Terrain recovery, I believe I heal out of the range of the +1 Glacial Lance. So the next turn I just click Glide. I kill this Ice Rider and the set's over.
All right, nice. So, wow, you made it out. You made it out the Ghoul.
Yeah, but like that's why it's always important. That's why it's always important to slow down, think through turns, and remember everything that your opponent can do. Because I just forgot about Farigiraf. Because I actually won that game on the spot. If you think about it, if I just Terra Grass Kyogre and Water Spout,
and you just do anything.
Because then I Oko Giraffe, I do 50% to Miraidon, and then he can't recover.
And it's cooked. Yeah, and it's cooked. Yeah, but it also shows you the resilience of like turn one can go as bad as it can possibly go, and you can also still win the set, right?
Yes.
You lost your restricted turn one, and you did no damage, and now you have no speed control here. You have Rillaboom next to Urshifu. He has a Whimsicott, or no, he's a Farigiraf and a Miraidon without a Kyogre, and you still found a way to win. So like, two lessons are there. One is take your time, but two is also, even if you are in this bad spot, don't just lock out and lose the game. Like
I actually had to do that in my Louisville set. Like just like a quick tangent. Which is why it's important to not always just forfeit. Like after something bad happens.
Yeah.
So like I lose game one against Carson Comfort to Dire Claw Sleep. I win the game two by beating the Dozo mode. Game three, I forgot his Dragonite was inner focus. I thought it was multi-scale. Every other Dragonite I played the tournament was multi-scale. So I clicked fake out, Draco Meteor, calling the Indeedee switch into Sneasler. I Oko Sneasler. I'm like, okay, I'm perfect. Then he Okos my Rillaboom. I'm like, uh-oh. And so I send out Electabuzz, and I'm like thinking like, okay, I think it's over. And I'm about to click the forfeit button when I'm like, wait. If he brought these 4 Pokemon, then he has an Annihilape in the back. I could win. And so if I remove Indeedee. So I just blow down Indeedee, kill it, and I actually end up winning the set because now I have a pin with my Tauros next to Electabuzz, and because I preserved my Terra, and I was able to win the set from there. Yeah. So like the important thing is if you still have turns to play and it isn't like an immediate like auto loss,
just play
it out. There can be like the slightest way to get out.
Yeah, it happened to me. It happened to me in a local. I went to a cup where I had to get first place to again keep my world's push going.
Yeah.
And basically comes down to like these weird speed ties where I have my Ice Rider. He has his Ice Rider and he has his Miraidon. So he always gets to click Electro Drift plus Glacial Lance. And if he does that, he wins. Because the way it works is like if he gets Glacial, if he does both, he wins or comes down to like 50-50. But instead, he drifts and he clicks Trick Room instead by accident. I kill the Miraidon, and then he sets up Trick Room for me, and I get leftovers recovery, and he just threw the game. So it's like you never know what can happen in these moments. So always play it out because again, the off chance their switch disconnects or they self-target, you never know what can happen.
Exactly.
So you should always play it out. But yeah,
100%.
Yeah, man. So now at this point, you're what, 6-0?
So I'm 6-0. I'm guaranteed day 2. I've never been on like I have been on a 6-0 streak before. Well, technically like X1 to 6-0 streak. I did that at UIC. But yeah, this team to get into this Justin.
I look at this team and I'm just like, this is going to be so annoying.
This was hell. This was scary. This was scary. Yeah. Koraidon Weezing is already like a weird matchup for the team. It comes down to
do that. That's the one thing you really want to see.
Yeah, it's like reads and positioning, right? What makes it even harder is Dondozo Bozo. And this one has like substitute, Terra Grass, body press. It's just really, really annoying. So like so game 1, I'm like, I'm just gonna go with the lead I know is best in this team. I'm gonna lead Amoonguss Ice Rider with Kyogre Urshifu back. So I lead Amoonguss Ice Rider, and he leads a lead I've never seen any of them lead before because it just auto loses to a Kyogre lead. And he leads Koraidon Cali Shadow. And I was like, uh-oh. And so like the reason why this is scary, right, is because his Calyrex is Life Orb, meaning it can Oko my Amoonguss turn 1, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting here and I'm like trying to think. I'm like, okay, if you're leading this lead, you have Dondozo in the back, based on the way you're playing it.
Yeah.
So turn 1, I double protect because I want to see what he clicks. Because that's the other scary thing is he also has Pollen Puff, so he could just Pollen Puff my Ice Rider Collision Course.
Yeah,
like, So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm going to double protect. So I double protect. He clicks Collision Course and Psychic. And so I take a moment to think, and I'm like, okay, this play loses, like what he just did, loses to Terra Water Rage Powder from Amoonguss, like instantly.
Yeah.
Because I could take and also the other thing is he didn't Terra Koraidon, which also gave me more important information because that told me Dondozo was in the back. Like it was there.
He's preserving
because
it.
Otherwise he would have committed Terra on Karide on turn 1.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, also the other reason why to double protect is because if he like hard switches and wheezing or something in the right slot,
you're prepared for it.
Calling like a switch, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, I know what he's going to do here. He's not going to risk the Terra. He's going to click Astral Barrage and a Collision Course. So I'm going to Terra Grass my Ice Rider and hard switch into Kyogre to live the double up. And so I do that and I click Glacial Lance, right?
Yeah.
Turn starts, Astral Barrage comes out, so I get the call right, any Collision Courses. My Ice Rider lives, I get the Glacial Lance off, and I KO both. It does crit the Shadow. It does crit the Shadow Rider after the Lord chip, but I don't think it mattered because usually after they break like the Sash or in this case like the Lord chip, they're in range.
Yeah.
And
should we do a live damage calc?
I mean, we can. 116 never melt.
What do you think it is? I'm actually curious.
I think it's like just max. Like if you're playing the Dozo teams, like you need as much damage as possible, right? So it's probably like what they usually hit 177 on the Lord sets nowadays. Like in terms of the raw stat, not the EVs. Basically that. Yeah.
Then this with 90%. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh, it's a roll. Not a roll. It's maybe it did matter, but like
let's see if it's 4. Let's see if it's 4-4 or 4-0.
Yeah, like you see what I mean? Like so it could have picked up depending on like the spread, right? Which I don't know his spread, but the important thing is I still had a game plan even if it didn't kill.
No, I'm just like, wow, that's clutch.
Yeah, like I still had a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought, but yeah, I still had a game plan even if it didn't kill. Like because I have Aqua Jet on Urshifu, right? So I can like
you're fine.
Right. And also like he needs to be careful because like he doesn't want Dondozo taking too much damage early, right? So I could threaten like high amounts of damage and stuff. So I still have like an out.
And he died.
Plus I could switch in a Amoonguss on one slot. And like because like no matter what, he should have been in range of at least one more Lord tick.
No, that's what I was just going to say. No matter what, he dies after the next attack anyway. So you were still going to win. But it's probably just so satisfying. See them just,
Yeah. So the scariest part's the Dondozo, right? Because now my Ice Rider's low HP. And right now this Dozo has Terra Grass loaded up. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to click Thunder Seed Bomb because because he's the one who has to make the read, right? Like, so that's either clicking Order Up into Kyogre or Body Press into Cali, because I don't think Order Up got there with the amount of HP I had left, and due to it being a defense boosting nature Dondozo most likely, right? So like even with the double attack boost. So I click Seed Bomb Thunder, and this is where Thunder actually comes in clutch because he does Terra Grass. And I do get a para into full para. For 2 full turns. So I'm able to just get like 2 massive Glacial Lances off. And then the Hydro Pumps were just doing consistent chip too. And so then he forfeited after a certain point because he knew he couldn't come out. And by the way, like let's say even if I didn't get the Thunder Para, I still think I could have won the set from there because I had Urshifu in rain with Amoonguss support. So I can just
I can win a good spot regardless.
So I can keep spamming Hydro Pump and Surging Strikes and then Amoonguss to Pollen Puff restore. So I out even if RNG didn't go that way my set. So like that's the important thing. Like take advantage of good RNG, but
when it happens, put your foot on the throat. Like make sure you bring it home.
You cut out.
Hello? Can you hear me? Cary.
Hold up.
Yo.
Hello.
I can hear you, bro. Hello. Hi. Yo.
Hello. Okay. Yep. Sorry.
I don't think you can see me, but that's fine.
No. Yeah. You disconnected. But yeah. But yeah, that's the important thing. Don't rely on RNG. Do take advantage of it though if it happens. That's the thing. Like always have backup plans, right? So after game 1, I figured like that lead is like too volatile for him because he risks so much by leading that because like I could just get like a double KO turn 1, right? It also like forces way more reads on him than it does me. Because then it's like, okay, do I turn my Koraidon? Do I not turn my Koraidon? Do I collision course? Do I not collision course? Do I click Psychic or Astral Barrage?
Yeah.
Like, he's the one who has to get the call right, and I can just set up Trick Room. The other thing that's nice about this matchup, right, is he doesn't have Taunt on Weezing. So I don't have to worry about him shutting down my Trick Room. I don't have to worry about him shutting down my Amoonguss. Like, it's very free.
Yep.
So game 2, I did expect a Koraidon Weezing lead, so I just led the same thing again with the same 2 in the back.
Yeah.
He leads Koraidon Weezing, and I lead Amoonguss Ice Rider. So I was thinking back to the first game. I'm like, I think it's interesting how I kept clicking Collision Course, and then I realized it made sense because he was trying to call the Terra Water on Amoonguss, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, if I'm this guy, right, and I just click Collision Course like 3 times in the previous set, to like get things in, like calling the Amoonguss Terra. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I think he's going to click Flare Blitz. So I'm going to click Terra Water, Rage Power, Trick Room. Okay. And so on this turn, he Terra Fires, which tells me Dondozo's not in the back.
Yep.
And so he clicks Terra Fire, Flare Blitz, and Toxic Spikes. And I get Trick Room up, and he takes Recoil.
Oh, he didn't even hit Poison Gas. He went Spikes.
Yeah, he went Spikes, which I'm like, that's fine. Because if he, because assuming based on his team, he most likely has then Brute Bonnet, Shadow Rider in the back. So anything that I switch in gets poisoned. And then I can like, what's it called? Not have to worry about the Brute Bonnet. The Brute Bonnet then becomes like not a threat. Like it's like, okay, you poison me. Like, okay. That's cool. So from that position, I'm like, okay, I have all the pressure with the Amoonguss now. I can click Spore. So I go for a read that he's going to call the Spore into the Koraidon slot, protect, and go for Poison Gas. So I click Spore into Weezing. In hindsight, I should have always spored Koraidon because he's not threatened by the Glacial Lances at all. This was like an in hindsight thing. Yeah. But I thought he was going to like try and like preserve turns of trick, like just take less damage, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it made sense to me. Like plus Poison Gas, like you get like a tick every turn, so it just made more sense to me like to call it. Yeah. No, he just Terrifier Flare Blitzes my Ice Rider, and I'm like, okay. But he takes like a ton of recoil though. Yeah. And I get a Never Melt Glacial Lance into Weezing. So then I send Kyogre out and I start spamming Water Spout. Yeah. Even in water, even though like we're in Sun, he's Terrifier, right? So he's gonna start taking damage. And so I click Spore again. He switches in Brute Bonnet. I'm like, that's fine. I'm threatening Pollen Puff. I'm also threatening a KO on this Weezing. He also just can't do much here. He has to like make a read. Does he Seed Bomb? Does he not Seed Bomb? Do I Pollen Puff? Like all this. And so we're just like playing in the Trick Room mode. And eventually we get out of Trick Room and like he just doesn't have enough resources to win the game.
Yeah.
So, so I win this.
In general, Amoonguss and Calyrex Ice has a really good matchup if you can play into this. Especially Kyogre to like deal with this guy. So I think as long as you can position it well, you can really win.
You can also see it in Gavin's set against this team. He did the same thing as me. He led Amoonguss Ice Rider with Kyogre plus X in the back.
And
so it's like
with 2 mons basically.
It just worked. His had a better line though because he was Terra Fairy Ice Rider. Also, he had a little bit of an easier time because Justin kept leading Shadow Rider into him. Yeah, which I don't think is a good lead. Like he led Shadow Rider Weezing. Yeah, when he should always lead Koraidon. Koraidon Weezing because it actually threatens like Okos and damage. Like that's what he needed to do.
Yep. So yeah, he got bodied versus you, bro. Had PTSD, had to switch it up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's always Cali Ice Amoonguss lead because they should always lead Koraidon Weezing into. It's the best lead for them. Yeah, in my opinion.
Got it. Cool, man. So, what do you think? Any last advice on this team, or?
It's somewhat read heavy, but just take advantage of the Trick Room turns. I definitely think I misplayed a bit in game 2, but I was able to recover properly and make the correct calls.
Yeah. Because they have no way of stopping Trick Room. So just make sure you play Trick Room well. Get that. Make sure they, the targeting, what that's going to look like. In there.
Exactly. It's actually way harder if they have Taunt on Weezing. Like Taunt, it actually makes it harder and it's more read heavy. Him not having Taunt actually made it 10 times easier because you can't shut down my Amoonguss, you can't shut down my Cali Ice. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically the gist. Try to remove Weezing as quick as possible so you can get your rain and then sweep from there.
Yep. Got it. That's good, guys. So yeah, that's what you're gonna do if you're gonna play against this Dondozo BS team, guys. We hate playing Dondozo. So yeah, last round of
Aaron Brok. Yeah, I was his only loss during Swiss.
Yeah, he was kicking ass, man. He was balling out.
Yeah, so Aaron Brok, this was the basically winning in for cut, right? Because 8-0 gets cut. So
why it was a winning in for cut because of the.
Okay, so this tournament was very small in comparison. It was a very stacked tournament, though. It's a very small tournament, but very, very stacked.
A lot of the top 100 players were there.
Yeah, like way more than like the usual smaller West Coast regionals. Like I'm going to use Vancouver as an example. Vancouver 2025 was a very small regional, and like not a ton of like big players showed up. Doesn't mean that not a ton of good players showed up. To clarify, a lot of good players showed up. It just the caliber changes a lot. Yes. So I'm playing Aaron Brok. I've seen this team before. It went undefeated day 1 at Utrecht. Went X3 day 2, sadly, but I knew this was a team that was like really popular in the Spanish region. I also just love Ting Lu.
Yeah, Ting Lu. I'm a big Ting Lu guy also. I'm a big Ting Lu guy as well.
Dude, my Ting Lu's named in game is called Ting Louis the 14th. I love him.
Ting Lu. That's funny.
But yeah, so in this matchup, so CSR Zama's a little awkward, specifically into the Raging Bolt Chen Pao Amoonguss variant because it's very 50-50 on lead. So Zamazenta Pao is really, really good into the Trick Room mode, like lead, like of Amoonguss Ice Rider.
Yep.
Because they can just OHKO because like that's what sucks about Grass Cali, right? Because they can just click Crash Body Press or like Crunch Body Press. Yeah. Right. And it's so much pressure on me to make the read when they could just click Crash into Amoonguss and OHKO it with Lord. Yeah. So and like it forces me to burn Terra. So I don't
applying all the pressure in turn 1.
Exactly. So I figured he was going to expect me to lead the Trick Room mode, right? Yeah. Which what punishes the Zamazenta lead with Chen Pao is Kyogre Jugulis. Now I know it doesn't seem like it, but that's where the bulk on the Kyogre comes in because you can actually start tanking attacks. Yeah. But the other thing is you have all the pressure that turn 1. You are forcing Terra on Zamazenta.
You are the one applying pressure.
Yes. You are forcing Terra on Zamazenta. You're forcing Wide Guard. You are forcing a defensive switch, right? So game 1, he leads Zamazenta Chen Pao. So I get the call right. Nice. And I lead what's it called? I lead Kyogre Jugulis with Urshifu Ice Rider back. Okay. And so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to double protect because I could bait out a Terra. I could bait out a protect. If he Terra Waters Zama, then I could Thunder it. It's now weak to Seed Bomb. So we're chilling. And so so I double protect. Turn 1, he clicks Terra. And I'm like, okay, what's Terraing? Is it the Zama? Is it the Chen Pao? And I see the Chen Pao actually Terra Stellars. Okay. And I'm like, that's
amazing.
Huge. Yeah. Because now that he Terra Stellars, that means there's no defensive Terra on Zamazenta.
Kyogre just looked at this like
yeah, I can also just Hydro Pump that slot and remove it, but I didn't want to do that. So and he Terra Stellars Sucker Punches. So that tells me what he's trying to do. Okay. And he body presses. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna Water Spout because I just need damage on Zamazenta, right? So next turn I click Tailwind, Hydro Pump, do all of Zamazenta's HP, and he if I remember correctly, he body presses, he suckers, like Terra Stellar suckers, it does like a bit over 50%, and then he body presses OHKO's Jug. Okay. And I'm like, you have just fallen for my trap card. And so
wait, body press KO's Jug?
Like I think it did. Yeah, I don't no, I think it lived on like a sliver of HP or something. I don't remember exactly. But I remember I get Urshifu on the board. Okay. Oh, no. He doubles my Kyogre. Actually, he kills Kyogre. He clicks Body Press Sucker. He kills Kyogre. I have Jug on the board with Urshifu now. Got it. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, now I have all the cards on the table. Your Zamazenta is low HP. Your Chen Pao is just burned. It's Dark Stellar Boost, right? Yep. So that means it only has Crash. And so I'm thinking like, okay, what could he have in the back? He's like, he could have Raging Bolt, Amoonguss, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to Surging Strikes Chen Pao, Hurricane Zama. And he stays in with both. Surging Strikes KO's Chenpao, Hurricane KO's Zamazenta. And here's the thing. He is scared to switch into Amoonguss in that spot. Because let's say I just Hurricane Pow calling the Amoonguss switch in, right? Yeah. Then Amoonguss loses all of its value and then it dies to the Surging Strikes anyways, right? And even then, let's say he did switch into Amoonguss. First off, it's taking Surging Strikes and Rain, right? I take Lord Chip plus Rocky, but I'm still out of range of like everything else. So then and I'm still applying pressure with my Jugulis. So I'm still not I'm not punished.
He doesn't want to lose it because he just doesn't want to lose it for nothing. That's what he's
exactly right. So it's it's fine. So I take the double KO. I'm like, all right, let's see what the backline is because I have Terra on my Urshifu. So if it's Raging Bolt, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then I see the backline, Amoonguss Shadow Rider, and I know the game is over because I could Terra Grass my Urshifu, Surging Strikes the Sash Shadow Rider and Rain, and then all he has left is Amoonguss versus Ice Rider, Jugulis, and my Terra Grass Urshifu. So I know the game is over.
Game 1 is cooked. You bodied him. Game 1.
Yes. Game 2. Yeah. I call him to lead Bolt Zama because that's the best lead into the Kyogre Jug stuff, right? Then I lead Amoonguss Ice Rider with Kyogre Urshifu back.
Okay.
And the game 2 loads up. What do I see? I see Raging Bolt, Zamazenta, and I know the game is basically over.
Turn 0. Yeah.
So I click Spore and I don't remember if I did not Terra Grass my Cali. I just clicked Trick Room.
Yeah.
I click Trick Room, Spore. He clicks Dragon Pulse, Heavy Slam Behemoth Bash into my Amoonguss, but it misses the KO because first off, he's not on Heavy Slam and he's not on Draco Meteor, right? Yep. So it doesn't get the range. So I knew I could Spore confidently, right? So I just click Spore. His Zamazenta is put to sleep. I get Trick Room up and I just start spamming Glacial Lance and Spore. And I knew Bolt was protecting turn 1, obviously in the first turn of Trick Room, but obviously you just click.
You have to do it. You have to just do it.
I just got to do it. So I'm just spamming Spore and Glacial Lance. He's forced to commit Terra, and there was almost nothing he could do. And by the time his Zama woke up, it was 50% from all the Glacial Lances adding up, and he sends in Amoonguss, right? And I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm going to send out my Urshifu. And so I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, he could Spore, right?
Yeah.
But I call him to Wide Guard plus Pollen Puff. And not Wide Guard. What did he do? I knew he was going to Pollen Puff because it covers for double protect, right? Yeah. And it allows him to get his Zama back up after taking so much damage. Yeah. So I click Glacial Lance plus Life Orb Searching, not Life Orb Searching, Life Orb CC.
Okay.
Because he burned Terra.
Oh, and
so I click Terra Grass CC.
Yep.
And Wide Guard doesn't come out if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And so I CC in the Glacial Lance. The Zama lives on 1.
Oh,
exactly.
Wow.
We talked after the set. It lived on 1 HP.
Wow.
And so Lord Pow, I'm like, okay, this could get kind of cooked now because now I have to deal with Zamazenta and Shadow Rider could pick up a double KO here if I'm not careful. And then I see it's Lord Pow in the back. So he went full and calling the Trick Room. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to Aqua Jet with Urshifu and click Seed Bomb. And so I click Aqua Jet. Sucker comes out into my Terra Grass Urshifu. I live with
the Trick Room was ended by the time that Chenpao came.
Yes. Trick Room was ended, and my Urshifu's Terra Grass, remember? So and -1. So Lord Sucker comes out. I live with a bit of HP left. Jet comes out. KO Zama. Bomb. Seed Bomb comes out. Barely misses the KO on the what's it called? The Chenpao. And then Kyogre comes out and just wins the game. I click Glacial Water Spout. I won the game 2-0, fairly cleanly.
There you go. That's 8-0, man.
Yeah, 8-0. And so then day 2 Swiss starts.
Yeah.
Which
first I want to hear I guess so what it sounds like. Just you can just let me know yes or no. Yeah. For this matchup, it sounds like you're always bringing both restricteds. You really like Amoonguss a lot in this matchup. And it seems like Jugulis or Urshifu are both of the other options.
The way that you play it is like this. If I'm committing to the Talon mode, right?
Yeah.
I'm leaving Amoonguss behind. or I'll bring it as a mix-up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I always lead Kyogre Jug with Urshifu Ice Rider back. I'm always bringing Ice Rider because I need to pressure Terras. I need to pressure like last turn of Tailwind Trick Room. Like even though I'm slower than like the Zamazenta, the Chenpao, and the CSR, even though I'm out of like in Tailwind, that doesn't matter because I have other things that pressure like those mons, right? And plus I'm still faster than the Raging Bolt. So I'm threatening like Glacial Lance plus Surging Strikes, right? So like that's where that like dynamic comes in.
Yeah.
And so and then if I'm committing to the Trick Room mode, then I'm bringing Ice Rider Amoonguss with Urshifu Kyogre back to like take full advantage of the Trick Room and the rain. And Kyogre is like a really bulky mon that's hard to deal with. Amoonguss is threatening the spores and everything. Like it's really, really good. But you have to call the lead. That's basically the gist of it. Which I got the calls right. So that's ended up how it worked.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think it worked out very well. Now you're 8-0. And because of this tournament, again, being a little bit smaller, only 2 rounds of day 2 Swiss. With Cary now being 8-0, he automatically makes the top cut, which is about 20-something players, I believe. So now all that Cary has to do is win 1 out of his 2 matches, and he gets an automatic bye week into the top cut, which is the top 16. So walk me through now. Now I'm sure you look at your you and Montana Mott are the only undefeated players entering Division. So now he has all night to prepare for 1 matchup. So that's his
first. I actually talked about this with my friends. I was like, this is like weird. I've never like ever known who my opponent is like this early, right? So it's if you look at Montana's team, it is basically the same as Brok's. It's just Rillaboom and then like a couple Terra changes. Now, what made this matchup actually a lot easier is that the Zamazenta was Terra Fire. So I didn't have to worry. So I didn't have to worry about a defensive Terra. So game 1, I lead Kyogre Jugulis. He leads Zamazenta Raging Bolt. And I'm like, okay, turn 1, I'm not going to go for Tailwind. I'm going to call him the double the Kyogre slot, and I'm going to click Hurricane into it to get it in range of Hydro Pump.
Okay.
He clicks Body Press into Kyogre, and he clicks Thunderbolt into Jugulis. So I got the call wrong, and I was like, okay. But I was like, that's fine, because now I can click Hydro Pump. And so I click, so next turn, I get my Ice Rider out, and I'm threatening Glacial Lance, right? So I'm pressuring like a wide guard or a defensive position, right? So next turn, I click Hydro Pump into Zama, kill it, and I click Trick Room. He clicks Body Press, but he clicks, I actually Terra Grass this turn because I thought he might Body Press Thunderbolt the Cali. So I wanted to take reduced damage. And so he actually clicks a Draco Meteor into the Kyogre because he just wants it gone. But in exchange, he loses his Zamazenta, and I get Trick Room up, and his Bolt's at -2. I'm like, and now I get Urshifu on the board. Then he sends out Rillaboom. And so this is when the RNG sadly starts. And so I'm like, okay, he has to fake out my Calyrex Ice here because otherwise I get a double KO. Right? Because he can only pick 1 to Terra, right? So I'm like, okay, -2 Magnet Thunderbolt shouldn't kill, right? And so he clicks Thunderbolt into it. I click CC into Rillaboom because I know if I get rid of Rillaboom, the game's over. Because I can just spam, because I'm Terra Grass, I can spam Protect for the rest of the game.
I already know where this is going.
He clicks Thunderbolt into Para into full Para. And I was like, and then so I'm like, that really blows. And so I'm like thinking, and I'm like, okay, he's going to swap Raging Bolt for Cali, soak the Glacial Lance. I'm going to click Aqua Jet. Calling Terrafire on the Rillaboom, right? I see Bolt switch out. I see Cali come in. I see Terrafire on Rillaboom. I'm like, if I just get Jet, the game ends because like Cali takes huge chunk from Glacial Lance, and like and he still has to get through 2 turns of Trick Room. Right. And Urshifu should be slower than the Rillaboom because of the Para. So Jet should go off first, like, and Lorb in rain, like, should get it just in range of the Never Melt Glacial Lance. Urshifu gets full Parrot, he Grassy Glides, he kills my Urshifu, and I know the game's over. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Times in a row.
And I'm like, because like if Urshifu didn't get parried either of those turns,
or get parried at all. Or get parried at all.
So that's get parried at all.
It's a full parrot, yeah.
The game ended. So like that sucked. So I'm like, okay, game 2, I'm just gonna leave the same thing again because he's gonna call me to lead Trick Room, right?
Yeah.
So I leave the same thing again, and it pays off. Because he leads Chen Pao Shadow Rider.
Okay.
And I lead Kyogre Jugulis. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do here?
Yeah.
And so he protects Pao, and he Astro Barrages. I click Tailwind Water Spout. Sash.
Yeah.
He has I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, what does he do? I'm trying to remember.
They Terra Stellar Sucker
next turn he Terra Stellar Sucker Punches, I believe.
He would do,
I click I think I click Spout her. I think I click Snarl Protect, I think, calling the sucker because I was willing to just sack it.
Yeah.
No. I click Hurricane into Pow, actually, and I click Spout, if I remember correctly. Kyogre lives on like no HP, like barely any HP.
Yeah.
And Hurricane comes out into the Pow, bringing it down low. No, I'm trying to remember. No, he switches. Okay, I remember the turn correctly now. Okay. He Terra Stellar Suckers. He KOs Kyogre. I knew he was either going to switch out or protect Shadow Rider because he wants it for when we get out of Tailwind. He hard switches into Amoonguss. I Hurricane Chen Pao. It gets down super low. I bring in Urshifu.
Okay.
Next turn.
Terra Grass Surge.
I think so. What did I do? I didn't Terra Grass. I actually surginged the what did I do? I'm trying to remember.
Did you win? You can just fast forward if you want.
I'll fast forward a bit. All I remember is there's a turn where his Amoonguss is low HP, and I just surging strikes it instead of Aqua Jetting the POW like he wanted. Oh yeah, I remember. We get to a board state where it's low HP Chen Pao, Amoonguss. I have Urshifu next to Ice Rider. Kyogre and Jug are dead. And he has 1 HP Shadow Rider in the back.
Okay.
And Zamazenta and his Amoonguss is like somewhat chipped, right? Yeah. But it should be in range of surging strikes. Yeah. So I'm thinking through the turn. I'm like, okay, I am going to click Trick Room with my Ice Rider, and I'm going to surging strikes the Amoonguss to remove it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call that Mott's going to go for Crash because he still has the Stellar boost on his Ice type moves, right? Yeah. So he can remove my Ice Rider in 1 turn, right?
Yeah.
And so he hard switches Zama. And he doesn't see Terra come out, and I hear, and I could like smell his breath, and so Life Orb Surging Strikes and Rain comes out, does like over 75% to Zama, and when I heard that sigh, I knew he clicked Crash into Ice Rider, so Crash comes out, does no damage, he doesn't get the flinch, and I get Trick Room up, and I know the game's over.
Okay,
we go into game 3. He leads Zama Raging Bolt. I lead the same thing again because I thought he might once again try to call me to go Trick Room.
Yeah.
Just because it's all mind games at this point, right?
Yep.
And I just start spamming spread moves, but he just spams Wide Guard, and I misplay from there when I should have probably clicked Hydro Pump turn 1, but it happens.
Yeah.
I probably should have had the set 2-0, but obviously I should have been able to win. I could have won the 3rd game, but without the hacks, I should have probably won 2-0 and would have probably been 9-0.
So in hindsight, how do you I guess when you look at this team, right, how are you looking at the matchup? What are you thinking?
It's pretty similar to Brok. It's just like you got to play around with the like the Rillaboom is like a factor that's like more prevalent than the Tinglu. Because like what's the Tinglu doing that set? Like if Brok brings it, right? Like it's a free +1 with the Seed Bomb, right? Like you're threatening. There's so much
Kyogre is never
right. So it's like with this, Mott can bring Rilla to stall, Trick Room, right? Like he has Terrifier. So it's pretty much a very similar game plan as the previous one, where it's just calls. It's a very 50-50 matchup. Then I played Emilio Forbes. When I saw this, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Another regional champ.
And it's 3 Zama CSRs in a row at this point.
Game 1, I roll him. I lead Kyogre Jug, and I just start spamming Spout. Yeah. And he and I just keep pressuring like all of his protects. Like I knew he was gonna like protect Zama one turn, and I could have protected Ogre, but like I'm like, this is fine because I just want to free switch it into my Ice Rider, and he's like trying to damage things with Bolt. He clicks Draco Meteor, trying to call Grass Terra on my Kyogre. So he's at -2, and I'm like, I'm just trying to leave this Bolt on the board. I just want you to get my my Ice Rider in, right? Yep. And so he lets me keep getting Hurricanes into his Zamazenta, and I get Ice Rider on the board next to Urshifu and Trick Room. And I'm threatening Seed Bomb into Zamazenta to pick up the KO. Like, it's just taking so much damage. And basically, oh, yeah, because he led Cornerstone, by the way.
Okay.
He led Cornerstone Zama, so he's like forced to switch into Raging Bolt. So I knew once like Raging Bolt was stuck on the field at like -3 and he's trying to get in these other Pokemon, like Urshifu just surging strikes through the rest of them because he had CSR and Cornerstone in the back, which loses to Lord Surging Strikes and Rain. So then game 2, I call him to lead Raging Bolt Zama. So I go the Tricker mode. I should have won off lead. I misplayed really hard because I got in my own head. I think the important thing is when you're playing players like this, just play your game, right? Stop thinking like, oh, if they read me doing the read of this, no, like that's not going to get you far against these good players because you're going to only end up screwing yourself up in the long run. Because he led Raging Bolt CSR into Ice Rider Amoonguss.
Which is like so good for you.
Which is so good. But I misplayed hard because I let Emilio Forbes is like
the aura,
like the aura, right? Messes with me. And like I did plays that I shouldn't have done. Like I clicked Glacial Lance turn 1 when Zamazenta is always coming into the left slot, and I should have always clicked Spore into the Bolt slot because Bolt's always switching out. And Trick Room because then I get infinite benefit. So I try to win my way back. The only way I can win is a Draco Meteor miss, which I don't get. And so we go into game 3. So game 3, he leads Zamazenta CSR, and I expect him to click Encore into Rillaboom, calling a fake out because I lead Rillaboom this time because like his team's like decently Rillaboom weak. Overall, outside of Raging Bolt. And turn 1, he just protects CSR, and I'm like, dang, I really could have just clicked fake out Trick Room and like the game's over. Like, because I had a Amoonguss Kyogre in the back. And so he body presses Rillaboom, and I'm like, this is rough.
This is not.
And so I'm thinking through the turn, and I'm like, I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, there's one way out. I kill CSR, and then Amoonguss Kyogre has to clutch in the back. So I click Grassy Glide, Seed Bomb. He Terra Ghosts. And I'm like, that's my way back in the game. He Terra Ghosts. His Zama does not resist Water Spout anymore.
Hydro Pump.
Or Hydro Pump, right? And so I remove Cali. I get +1. His Amoonguss comes out. And this is where a read comes in. In my head, I got the read right. But I let my fear get the best of me. Because I thought he would, once again, read the read. It's important to just play your game, right? Because in my head, I knew he was going to double protect because on his side, right, he has all the pressure. So it makes sense on his side for him to call me to protect my Ice Rider and Spore because I had Amoonguss on the forward. So I'm like, oh, he's going to read the read. So I'm going to protect Spore. But he didn't do that. Meaning if I just didn't protect Ice Rider, I won the game. Like I'm not even joking. Like I actually won the game because then I can click Glacial Lance, threaten Oko and Amoonguss because he burned Terra and Pollen Puff, get all my HP back, and then like, the game's over. Like, but I didn't do that, right? Because I let fear get the best of me. So I saw one line back into the game after that crucial mistake.
What is it?
Sludge Bomb Poison on Kyogre. So I call him to click Wide-Guard. So I call him to click Wide-Guard Sludge Bomb, right? Because my Calyrex is low in Terra Grass. So I hard switching Kyogre. He Sludge Bombs Wide Guards. I get the call right. Poison comes out, and I'm like, yes. Because I know this is because now he can't put me to sleep. So now I can spam Water Spout and Pollen Puff and like just win the game. Because Zamazenta went to sleep that turn as well because I put it to sleep. In hindsight, I should have also just keep sporing the Zamazenta slot so he doesn't get a free switch in because he got bowled in. And once again, I ran into another scenario where I tried to like where I thought he was going to read the read.
You were getting aura.
Like read the read. Because Bolt come out and I knew in my head, right, it made sense for Emilio to click Draco Sludge Bomb into my Amoonguss to try and remove it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But in my head, I click Protect on. I'm like, oh, he's gonna read that and like Thunderbolt my Kyogre. Thunderbolt my Kyogre or something, right?
Yeah.
And I got it wrong, and I was, but he, luckily the Draco missed, but I think it was like a roll to like live with the Sludge Bomb plus the Draco.
The Sludge Bomb clutch up though is electric though.
I know, but he does miss the Draco, and I do get to put his Bolt to sleep, and I just spam Water Spout for the rest of the game, and I win from there. His Zama had 0 turns of sleep. I still had my Ice Rider in the back.
Yeah, now you have
I win the game. I didn't like how much RNG came down to this, but it taught me an important lesson that I still have a lot to learn, and I need to trust myself more because oftentimes
you got bailed out of not following your brain there. Like
my intuition. Yeah, the important thing is to follow your intuition. I think a lot, and it's something I'm still.
I always say that. Whatever your first thought is, I told this to Blake. I should have told this to Blake the day before. I was like, always follow your first. I don't care if you overthink and you find something. Almost always, if you have at least played your team for a long time, your first subconscious thought has already processed what could happen without you even knowing that. So your intuition on how things typically go is almost always the right play.
But it's like also the other thing is like I just let Emilio's records like get the best of me after like I steamrolled game 1. So it's like if I just stuck with my plays, I could have probably made this a 2-0 set and made like or take it more cleanly game 3. But I still won the set despite it because I knew my out.
Yeah,
I found the one out, which is the Sludge Bomb poison, which is a higher chance than me getting a double Protect on Ice Rider or something. Actually, I don't know if that's it's close. It's basically almost the same odds. I played for the Sludge Bomb one because I felt more confident getting that than a double Protect. So then after that,
walk me through your mentality now. Walk me through how your brain is. Like, how are you feeling?
Okay. So at this moment, I'm 9-1. Like, this is insane. I already knew I was like guaranteed for cut, but it feels good to get the bye because I get to take a break and watch some Swiss, right? Watch some cut. So I watched the cut game, and then they give me like the pager. Like that's like a new thing that they're doing. And so I do the pager. They page me over, and I'm waiting for my to see who I'm going to play against because I'm either playing against Joshua Dank or I'm playing against Ryan Haig, right? So I'm looking at the two teams, and I'm like, I would prefer to play Joshua Dank because his team is a lot weaker into mine than Haig's. Because Haig, I have to play around wide guard, Instant, and Amoonguss, right? And so Haig ends up winning game 3 based on what I understood. And so I have to play Ryan Haig, which I respect him a lot as a player. But I needed to get revenge because he beat my boy Jonathan. He beat Jonathan in Swiss, and he beat you. So I had to get revenge.
Dude, the way he knocked me out was my iron.
Draco, right?
His Draco. He's Assault Vest, by the way. Mm-hmm. I actually want to check this. Like, I haven't, like, let's see.
My Chiliang.
Yeah, well, my iron hands, I can't reveal. Actually, we can't do that right now. It's fine. But where's his team? It's like right here. Yeah. So against me, he was out of terrain -2, and my hands is over half HP, and then Draco comes out, and we just both watch it. Just get 0.
Yeah.
Really nice guy though. Really nice guy.
No, he was chill. He thought when we started the set, what's it called? And he saw my Kyogre come out and said, "I connect." He was like, "Hey, nice name." I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah. Also, fun fact: Emilio are really close, so you beating them back to back is really funny.
Yeah. But me and Haig, this set was so much fun. I just played balance. It was a lot of pivoting and positioning. So I got info from my buddy Jonathan, right? Because Jonathan was the other one who ran the team with us, and he played Haig earlier, and he almost beat Haig. He brought it to a game 3, and he said Haig was low key like disrespecting him, not in like an actual way, but like Haig had like one earbud out, like he's like just kind of like vibing. When I played Haig, he had both earbuds in, like focus lock. And I'm like, all right, you disrespected my boy. Now I got to lock in. So, so I play. So, game 1, he leads Miraidon and Incineroar. I lead Rillaboom Kyogre.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking around, and I'm like, I know what he has in the back. He's not bringing Bear. He's not bringing Grim. He's bringing Amoonguss, Lunala. So game one, I knew it was probably going to be like a fake out trade or something, right? So I'm like, okay, his most optimal play is to fake out Kyogre as I fake out Miraidon, right? Because I can't fake out Incin. So he's probably going to click Snarl with Miraidon. So I'm like, okay, I can protect Kyogre, U-turn, and get Amoonguss in and maintain board momentum, right? Because then I'm not threatened by Terra. He can only click Snarl or Draco Meteor.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I get, so I do that. He fakes out Kyogre, Snarls. I get Amoonguss on the board for free. Now I'm pressuring Spore and Water Spout. So I call, if I remember correctly, I call him to click Snarl. So I click Water Spout, Spore, and trying to remember what happens. Amoonguss comes in on the right slot. He clicks Snarl. Miraidon goes to sleep. Okay. And I don't remember entirely how it like all breaks down, but it's like a lot of like really aggressive positioning from both sides. Yeah. And like eventually we get to a board state where I try to call him to not spore, like just spore the other slot, calling it the pivot, but he spores my Ice Rider switch in where I had Amoonguss originally. I thought he would try to spore the Rillaboom slot. Yeah. Which he didn't. And so I was like, damn. So he spored my Ice Rider. It's asleep. I'm trying to burn sleep turns. It eats a Moongeist Beam. But we get to a board state where I have a Amoonguss next to Ice Rider. Okay. He clicks Draco Moongeist, but he misses the Draco. Which is good for me, but like once again, even if the Draco connected, I still had outs.
It's just nice though. It's just nice. Like it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I still had Rillaboom at good HP. I still had like Kyogre at full HP. Yeah. So I could have still, and like my Ice Rider, he ignored Ice Rider that turn, like to double the Amoonguss. So I was able to Spore, put the Lunala to sleep, but my Ice Rider was able to wake up that turn in Glacial Lance. So I was able to. So I was able, but his Miraidon lived on 1. Because he intimidated me with Incin. Yeah. But eventually we get to a board state and I need to click Hydro Pump to KO because he has like Amoonguss Lunala. Yeah. Lunala just took 1 turn to sleep. It gets the turn 1 wake up. And Wide Guards on my Water Spout Glacial. Amoonguss clicks Sludge Bomb into Kyogre. I'm like, okay, he's gonna Moongeist Ice Rider, so I'm gonna protect Ice Rider. I got a Hydro Pump. So I Hydro Pump, it connects. Nice. Kills Lunala, and now he only has Amoonguss versus Ice Rider Kyogre with Rillaboom back. Game 2 was so close. It was so stressful. Yeah. I'm just trying to manage resources, and so I'm like pivoting my Amoonguss, pivoting my Rillaboom, back and forth, back and forth. I knew he would lead Lunala Miraidon that game, but I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna play fake out Spout, which did like 50% to Lunala. Even like after like through the Shadow Shield and stuff, and like the damage was just.
You also having Pollen Puff here in the mirror is very helpful.
Yes,
it's like very.
I did very. I did that a couple times. I also called him to call the Terra on Kyogre a lot of the time, so he would click Sludge Bomb into it. And what sucked in the mid game was it got poison, and that poison actually added up a lot because then I wasn't able to Pollen Puff in this one crucial turn to get my Kyogre back up to like more comfortably win the game because he preserved his Incin really well, but I was like chunking his restricteds. And eventually we get to a board state where he has Amoonguss, Incin versus my Ice Rider, low HP Amoonguss, low HP Rillaboom. And I'm just like trying to pivot my Amoonguss and my Rillaboom to get my Amoonguss just that right amount of HP to put the Incin to sleep. Yeah. And the thing is, he still hadn't used Terra yet. So I'm like, I'm trying to like be really careful around the Amoonguss. But we get to an end game. Rilla's in the back, full HP Ice Rider, Amoonguss. I Spore Incin, trying to call a knockoff. He clicks Wisp, but misses it. I ran the calc afterwards, but he didn't tear Amoonguss. Even if he connected the Wisp, since my Ice Rider had no Intimidates and its Nevermelt was not knocked off, Glacial Lance is still doing like 50 to 60% of Amoonguss's HP. Yeah, even with the burn, so I was fine.
Still nice again. What we're gonna say though is still nice. A lot of still nices.
Like, that's the thing. Like I definitely got like a bit lucky, but like due to the way that the games were playing and how I was preserving.
You still felt good. You still felt good.
I still had ways out in order to win because once again, my Ice Rider full HP, right? My Amoonguss out of range of knockoff, so I could put the Ensign to sleep. So and then like the Amoonguss has Sludge Bomb, which is super effective, right? But I have Pollen Puff, so I can spam side Pollen Puff. Like for the rest of the game, like I can break through Incineroar. It was under half HP. Like damage and chip is adding up. The Will-O-Wisp miss was just like the icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake. It was like I'm already up, but now I'm gonna win.
Exactly. So that was basically it. A really fun set against Haig. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, when you play a team like this looks like kind of like that Andrew Ding team. How are you approaching it with your team? And if someone's going to use your team against this, what's the advice there?
Lowkey, his is kind of easier than the Andrew Ding team because he doesn't have banded Urshifu and Rain, which is faster than my Kyogre. So if you're playing into this kind of team, try and get into Trick Room. Because they never really want to bring Bear into you because Bear just loses to like almost everything on the team. And like Kyogre's your main restricted here. And then like Ice Rider's just used to pressure the Miraidon mostly. So like try and get into Trick Room and just blow up like the slots or just lead like Amoonguss plus Kyogre, Rage Powder, Spout, like just maintain damage and you're fine. Like it's definitely more of a balanced game. It's scarier if they have the banned Urshifu, just because if you set up the rain for them.
Same with as soon as you have Thunder to revenge the electric terrain, the Urshifu helps revenge your own rain.
I really like Rillaboom Ice Rider lead as like an idea for like calling like an Ensign Urshifu lead, not saying for this team. I'm saying for this type of team in general, because like you can fake out, set up Trick Room, U-turn, get in Kyogre, like spout. Like what? Like that's basically it. But yeah, that was a really fun set against Haig. I enjoyed it a lot.
Do we have to talk about the Len matchup again? Do you want to, or it's up to you?
I'll quick mow over. Once again, this set was like really quick. He brought triple grass into this set. He left Instant at home both games. Game 2, I literally was just able to click Tailwind Glacial Lance because he didn't see that play, and I was able to get a +2 turn 2 because I chipped his Ogre Pond turn 1, and he didn't Terra his Rillaboom because he needs it for the Terrapagos, and I just O-code both, and I had +2 Nevermelt Ice Rider staring down Terrapagos Amoonguss.
Bye. Game over.
And like I just sent Kyogre out because he cudgeled my Jugulis, and so I had Kyogre, Ice Rider, Terra Fairy, Amoonguss, and Terrapagos. Like what can you do from that point?
Yeah, game's over. So now let's talk about the set everyone's been waiting to talk about. This one,
Gavin Michaels. Okay, me and him had a really fun conversation backstage about the team. We were talking.
How often did you watch this back since you came on?
I've watched it like 5 times.
I knew you would.
I'm still not warmed up to watching the Derbesti reaction. I'm assuming he's disappointed in me. So this matchup, I think we actually played on ladder, which is the crazy part because there was a high ladder version of this team with almost all the exact same mons. It was just I believe it was Iron Hands over the Amoonguss slot, but it had the Terragos Bascu, but it had safety goggles. It had this Flutter set, it had this Kyogre set, and it had this Ice Rider set, and it also had the Grimmsnarl set. So I'm assuming it was him or Nick Navarre because they built this team together. Apparently. So I had a lot of context on the team. Now, if you watch the stream games, it might seem like I'm over aggressing into like obvious protects on the Ice Rider, but there was a reason for that, right? It's because I knew Basket Legion was in the back, right? And that is honestly the scariest mon on the entire team besides the Ice Rider, because Terra Ghost Last Respects Life Orb is broken. And so
you're not in Tricker, it just runs through your whole shit.
Yes. And so I was just like, because the biggest threat to me is the Ice Rider, because I have so many Terra Grass, I have resists into his Kyogre, I could give less of a crap about it. So game 1, it was just kind of like back and forth. I thought he would Spore Rillaboom. That's the reason why I would hammered, but he said Pollen Puff. So then eventually I just played for the self-KO Rillaboom to get Ice Rider in. I do misplay on the turn. He had Amoonguss Ice Rider on the board. I should have always clicked Hydro Pump plus Terra Grass Seed Bomb rather than Glacial Lance. Seed Bomb should have been a 2-co based because I was at +1 after removing the Kyogre.
Yeah.
And since I knew I lived the Glance, I could then pressure the KO on the Amoonguss and the Ice Rider on the next turn. So that was a misplay on my part. And then the last turn was a call. Like it's like I either have to call that he is going to because I didn't know the speed tier on the Basque.
Yeah.
Which if I knew it was slower than my Kyogre, I would have just double attacked.
Yeah.
Because it's a call. It's either I attack into Basque and he protects Glacials, or he protects Trick Rooms.
Yeah.
And sadly, he protected Trick Room, so I got the call wrong.
Yeah, you thought I thought you got it right the way it looked, and then it's like, oh, he clicked Trick Room.
He clicked Trick Room, which I was like, because Lord Urshifu in the back always wins against his Ice Rider. So then game two, I got a low roll on the Seed Bomb. So he like lived, and it made the matchup way more stressful. But I saw like the one line, and that was to get the one line, and that was to get Amoonguss in and like start side pollen puffing and But you may ask, there was one key turn where it's like, why didn't you remove his Kyogre? And that's because here's the thing: if I remove his Kyogre, he gets Ice Rider plus Amoonguss on the board, or he gets Basculegion plus Amoonguss on the board. I needed to stall it like another turn. So I knew he would Spore Kyogre. So I was like, okay, I'm going to side Pollen Puff to get my HP back up and Spout just to get more chip and get the Kyogre in range of Puff, right? Because Gavin's trying to fish for that free switch in. He wants that free switch in. And so I kill the Kyogre, and then Basque comes out. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to Rage Powder Thunder. And if I wake up, I wake up. And so I Rage Powder. Kyogre wakes up, which then tells me the important information that his Basque is slower than my Kyogre, which means it's also possibly slower than my Rillaboom. And so I Rage Powder. Kyogre wakes up, crit Okos the Amoonguss. That mattered, but like it also didn't matter, if that makes sense. Because the next turn I would have clicked Spout plus Glide anyway, which would then have killed Basque. The wake up was the important part, right? So I wake up and I knew I won the game from there. And then I also learned that the Basque was slower than Rillaboom because of the turn recovery, which means he was at least 112 speed most likely. Because my Rillaboom was 113. So he's probably 112 because he wants it to work in and out of Trick Room. It also outspeeds max speed Urshifu and stuff.
It's a cool piece. It's a really cool piece.
It is a really cool piece. I was watching Tub Takes before getting on this, and he said it was too.
Was it the YouTube video they made, or just the live?
No, just the stream, and he said it was for in and out of Trick Room because he could time the Trick Room with the rain. And then the rain would die as Trick Room would set up, and then Basque worked in the Trick Room, if that makes sense. Game 3, I knew Kyogre Ice Rider was coming out from his end, and I led Rillaboom Ice Rider again.
You had such a good lead on that.
I was like, and so I U-turned to get in my Kyogre. Now, Patrick, because I talked with him after it, he's like, you should have glided Glacial Lanced. Which I agree to disagree. The reason why I didn't want to do that is because a fairly safe play from him, if he's calling no fake out, is to Terra Grass Kyogre, Water Spout plus Glacial Lance. And like that's almost unpunishable from his end, except me clicking Glacial Lance, right? Which and in hindsight, and he went for Origin Pulse anyway. So if I click Glide and I miss the KO, like with Glacial Lance, then I don't get any benefit. Because so like that's the issue. I mean, we saw how much Glacial Lance did to the Kyogre. It did like almost a quarter. Like when I clicked it, game 1 or 2, I forget. But I knew I just need to get my Kyogre in. And so I get my Kyogre in. I figured I figured he was in range of Spout plus Glacial, and I ran the calcs afterwards if he's on like the Derbesti stuff. He would have been in range of Seed Bomb plus Water Spout, especially since it looked like I got the high roll on Seed Bomb.
Yeah.
But then the crit water spout just like sealed the game. And I was
like,
like,
consider going for hydro pump in that turn? Because when I was watching it, I was like,
I was debating on it, but it's like,
I was like, that's an 80% chance to always win. Like, that's why I looked at it in my head. Compared to a roll could always be like that.
No, you're 100% right. I should have full committed, but it was like let's say it missed the KO, right? Yeah. I still have full HP Rillaboom plus Amoonguss in the back, and like I can play around that fact. I can do recovery. I can.
It's tough. He still has all his pieces though at that point, and you only have those two guys. Like, it was.
Well, no, because like what's it called? Because Kyogre should have been able to like live the glen. Because dude crit me like 3 times on my Kyogre like during the set, all which mattered, by the way.
Yeah,
like
that's why going slower also must have been so annoying because
it was. In hindsight, I do wish I did click pump because I knew he wasn't going to protect that turn because he had the offensive pressure.
Yeah.
It just sucks because like running calcs afterwards, I think like because if I remove Ice Rider, like, the game's actually over, by the way. Yeah. But by the way, if I remove Ice Rider, like the game's like actually over for him.
No, I know that's why in my mind, like, I was watching with my friends and I was like, he clicks pump here, it lands, it's over, game's over.
Yeah, because
and then I saw the crit, and then I was like, oh my! Like, now it's like whatever role he was going for, I was like,
So it was just like
you can like I can't even like we're not in a place to question your judgment because you played so great in the tournament, so it was just like one of those like
it just it sucked. And it was funny because like my dad heard people behind him saying like, oh, he doesn't know how to play his own team. I'm like I'm in top 4, bro.
Yeah, shut up, bro. It's always easy to be a passenger seat player, you know.
Yeah, but to clarify on why I should usually always win from that point for like people who wouldn't have understood the board state from there, right?
Bro.
Yeah, Bascu would have come in, right? I sack my Kyogre and I try to like click Spout or Thunder or just try to remove Bascu, right? As long as I get Ice Rider next to Amoonguss to set up Trick Room, the game ends because then he's going to Terragos Bascu, Oko Amoonguss. He's going to do whatever he wants with his Kyogre. I set up Trick Room. I get Ice Rider next to Amoonguss versus Bascu Legion, Kyogre, Amoonguss. How does that beat Rillaboom, Ice Rider in Trick Room?
Yeah, you're chilling at that point.
Like the game was over.
Yeah, once Cali Ice dies, you win. Yeah, if Cali Ice dies, you win.
Which is what I'm playing for because that's the reason why I kept targeting it down because I can't let Bascu Legion next to Ice Rider happen because then it's actually really really bad for me because I had Eric Bush, a good friend of mine.
I know Eric.
Yeah, I had Eric Bush. He ran some calcs for me. With the Terragos Bascu before the set, and he was telling me like, oh, +2 does this, +1 does this, like on the last respect stacks. So I would have been like a really good position. It sucks to go out that way. I really wanted to play Jay because he was actually my first round in Top Cut at Louisville, so it would have been awesome to like play again.
Yeah.
Also,
you want to play in finals, like naturally, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it sucks to go out that way, but like I definitely could have played it better in some spots. But I'm still learning, I'm still growing. Yeah. And I also definitely think some of that like self-doubt / fear factor still applied to my set against Gavin. Because I definitely overthought some turns. But
and you still grow. Like give yourself credit, like you played out of your mind, you found ways to position yourself when it looked like, oh, he doesn't have. Like he's caught in the weird spot of the speed sandwich. You still played that very, very well. Like the credit you have to give yourself has to be, again, you're also 17, bro. Like, that is unbelievable how you have a grasp over such a complex game at this level. You're so social. Like you seem like a normal fucking guy. So the ability to do that, play the game.
I'll explain in the advice segment like how much Pokemon has helped me. But
that's what we're gonna do right now, bro. Like again,
the run's basically over here. I got top 4.
Any last words on your run?
I'm just very very happy over over the run as a whole. I think it's, even though it sucks to go up to the crit, I'm happy it was to Gavin because I really first off, I really enjoyed talking to him backstage. We got along very nicely. It was really fun to talk about Kyogre Ice Rider because it felt like we were like the only ones in the
the
club.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's like, oh yeah, we were right. Like it was so good to bring this to the tourney. It was also fun, like talking about like our different like builds and stuff and like the purposes on why and why not we did that. Like I asked him about Leech Seed. He's like, I really liked Leech Seed, but it was okay. I'm like, why Grimmsnarl? And he's like, oh, Grimmsnarl kind of sucked this tourney. And I'm like, oh, all right. But it was cool. It was just really nice to talk to him. And like, if I had to go down to any player, I'm glad it was Gavin.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I think you had a great run. And that's going to go to our next thing, because on top of your top 4, I think what a lot of new players who are, whether they're around your age, they're younger, they're older, they're newer, this is their second year, also play, whatever it is. I want to talk about the third thing I have on my board here, which is we finished your team report, we finished your tournament run. Let's talk about some advice. So I'm just curious, what pieces of advice do you have for your younger self, to new players, to people who want to be where you are, sitting on top 4 on stream with a chance in game 3 to go play in finals after going 8-0 in Swiss? So just talk about the things that have made you the player you are, the best advice you have for other players, because I'm sure, when I started playing, I'm sure even right now, this is something that's going to be helpful to me too, right? So I'm curious your advice on this game that you play and how it's impacted you in your, your experience.
So I think the important thing is be patient. So I went to my first regional, I went 1-4.
Mine was like 2-6, bro. Same thing.
Yeah. So, but like, and I was like really bummed. I was really sad. But to be honest, I had like a nightmare matchups for a first regional. Like I had a gouging fire mirror. I pulled Tim Edwards after his EYC run. Yeah. For round 2. Round 3, it was like an almost like unbeatable matchup for my team. It was like this weird like Dragonite Shed-Tail stuff, and then and I just didn't want to play anymore. Like after that, so I dropped. So I dropped. But I learned a lot that regional, and it taught me like I needed to change the way I prepped. I needed to make sure I brought like a good team, because I brought a team I was comfortable with, and that was like the gouging fire stuff. But it told me I needed to like approach the game differently. And so at my second regional, Indianapolis, I actually got my first day 2, and I almost cut. I almost cut. I went 10-4. I was the highest placing Shadow Rider at the event.
Okay.
Which I was happy about it, but also kind of sucked because like the 2 matches that I lost day 2, which would have determined if I got in the cut or not. One was like an almost impossible stall team piloted by Splatty Daddy on Twitter, or Ethan Matos. I just did not have a matchup into it, and then I played Jonzu on Groudon stuff, and I missed the roll on Ensign with Terragus Astral, which was like, but it happened. I was super happy though for a second regional, but then it's going to tie into my second thing of advice, which is like putting too much pressure on yourself. After I got day 2, I put so much pressure on myself to get day 2 at NAIC. I mean,
EUIC.
That I was just
last year NAIC. You're saying?
But the one that Patrick won. I went 4-3 drop. I brought a team that I was like uncomfortable with. I was stressed. I was not having fun.
Yeah.
I was just like pressuring myself to get that day 2. Like that just does not lead to a good mentality. You're not gonna have fun with the game.
You have to go in genuinely excited, feeling comfortable, feeling loose. Like that, the way you enter the tournament on that day is how your tournament typically goes. No one goes in there, oh my God, my team sucks. They never will do well. If you go, I got this shit, bro. I've been practicing. I'm ready. I know this is it's gonna make the biggest difference. That's why for me, like I call it the McFree mentality, bro. McFree does not mean I'm calling you a shit player or that's not what McFree means. McFree means that I am so locked in that like I will win. I'm that confident that I can call anyone I play McFree. So my whole thing with you is feeling that level of confidence, having fun. It all builds into that, and you're talking about it right now. So I'll keep going, man.
But like I also think being nervous is also like important, right? Because my friend Austin before UIC, I cut that event. But like what's it called? I was like super stressed out. I'm like, I don't remember this matchup. I'm worried about this matchup, yada yada yada. And he's like, and then he's like, Cary, I'm gonna tell you this. my dad gave me like this super good advice. And he's like, as like the 24th ranked best basketball player in Florida at the time, he told me like the reason why you're nervous is because you know like all the stuff and you're worried that you're gonna like fail, but you know it. But if you're not if you're not nervous and you come, it's because you knew you came in underprepared and like you're not gonna do well anyways. Which I was like, and that stuck with me.
It's true.
Ever since, and like
it only comes with expectations, right?
Yeah, so I'm very appreciative of my friend Austin for giving me that advice because it stuck with me. Yeah, Austin Latovsky, my God.
Shout out.
But that was like my first season, right? And it was like pretty meh. I went to 3 events, but then this season, my consistency has been insane. Like
let's see aren't you like VGC CP leaderboard? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're like
I am 13th currently on the ladder. I maxed out.
Look at that,
I maxed out all my championship points for locals like very early on during the off season, and like this is when I started really developing my play. And then so first regional of the season I go to is Louisville. Yeah, and I get top 8 with Specs Dragapult.
That's pretty high.
So I was super excited about that. Next event, Toronto, the one that you cut actually got top 8. I got top 16. I lost to Giovanni Costa. Game 1, it sucked because game 2 he went off a dire claw sleep, and then game 3 he just outplayed me, and I was like, that sucks. But it was like nuts. Next event was San Antonio. I went 8-3. I was 1 win away from cut. Wow. After that was EUIC. I make top 32 top cut. I lose to Yusuke Takanaki in a close 3-game set. And then I sadly went 5-3 at Atlanta, but like it was a big learning moment for me. And like
me too. I went top cut in Toronto, and then I went 5-3 in Atlanta, and then right after that I bounced back with another top 8. So very similar to you.
Yeah. So like I think it's really important to like look at your losses and learn from them and then adapt. And like that's what I think has been like a big part of my consistency is like my willingness to like keep learning, trying to find new ways, find teams that fit me. And then also just learning from other players. I've learned so much from my friends like Patrick, Chris, Jonathan, Landon, like just being around.
Leave a like if you got. He shouted you out. Like the video.
Yeah, and it's just like working with friends and like having all the support and meeting people has like helped me so much. It's also improved my confidence a lot as like a person. Like I know it's hard to believe now, but I used to be like a very, very like scared like kid. I did not like talking to anybody. I was very like shut in, did not want to talk to nobody. But like Pokemon like genuinely helped my confidence and helped connect with people. And like my parents, my grandparents have noticed how much more confident I've been in like talking to people, in my demeanor and stuff. And it's just like genuinely helped me feel better as like a person and like a human. So that's kind of like my advice. I know it was like kind of like a mix of like my journey, but like my journey has like applied into like where I've gotten to. And so that's basically it.
I appreciate you sharing that, man. I think all of us are playing this game for a reason, and the ones who stick along because they're having a great time, they're getting better, they're learning a lot, and they're embracing the journey, right? Like to come in and think you can win a regional championship in your first year, your first tournament, it's unrealistic. But we're coming here for the chance to do so. Like, we know the road's not easy. And we all watch these shows, like these animes or these TV shows or these movies, like superhero movies and sports, where we see the climb to the top, and that's where we all are on our journey. And you learn things, you have bad moments, right? You can win you can do so good, and you come back down, and win so good and come back down. And that's the thing, I quit playing for almost 9 months, and then I come back and I can make top 8, and then now I'm doing this. Like, you never know what can happen, and that's the beauty of the game. And I never come back. It was not for the people that I met along the way. And even now, like, I've never spoken to you. We first messaged on Twitter. And I feel like now when I see him, I'm going to dap you up and give you a hug every time, bro, because now we're So I think like that's what makes this game so great. It's just the people getting to play a children's video game around the world. Like, what else could you ask for?
100%.
Yeah, man. So I love that, dude. I really appreciate it. My last thing we have for you is, everyone, number 4, if you made it to Cary's huge secret, comment the word goated in the comments. If you made it to this point, because Cary's going to drop you his number 1 like thing that he wants you to do to get better as a player yourself. So comment the word goated. If I actually want to see, guys, this is a 2-hour and 47-minute video so far. So there's a long.
Sorry, I rambled.
It's okay. It's not, I'm not even mad at you. This is like probably the most detailed team report on YouTube history, and you're part of that. So, which is amazing. So comment the word goated if you made it this far in the video. And Cary, if you had one actionable piece of advice to any player watching this video to get better, what is that? What is that one action that they can do starting tomorrow to go to the player they want to become?
I honestly enjoy life. That's like the first thing. like Pokemon is like a big part of my life, right?
Wow.
But I think the most important thing is like taking time to spend with family, taking time for yourself. Like the worst thing you can do is become addicted to the game and like just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. It's important to
self-worth to the game. That is really
yes, 100%. It's important to, I think, like work out, hang out with friends, like go out, like just enjoy life, because life always should come before Pokemon. And like that's honestly the best piece of advice that I can have. And take breaks. After majors, I usually like to take like a week break.
Yeah.
Which usually helps a lot. With mental resetting, like I'm not gonna play like anything this week. Like
I haven't touched Showdown since I got home, so I'm the same way as you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably like my best piece of advice. Just enjoy life, like, and just take time to like do stuff outside of Pokemon.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, because my channel is not me telling you what the #1 best team is or what the meta call is for the next tournament. My goal is to make everyone here a better player, have fun, and actually improve over the long run. And that advice really similar to the kind of things that I always tell everyone about. So I appreciate that, man. And guys, I'm gonna share his team again on the screen. If you want to play his team on the game in the ladder, here's a team ID right here, screenshot. I'm gonna put the paste and the rental code in the comments as well. And yeah, guys, let us know in the comments. Just give Cary some love, guys. This is his first team report. This is his first top 4. I can sense an even deeper run at one of these other tournaments coming. When you are a player I've spoken to that truly has a love for this game, like unlike I've seen on a lot of people, and a level of depth that you go into every single match and reflection, the way you are about it, like you have that ability. And even some of my friends who are also top players, they were like, "Oh, Cary," I think Aaron Zhang said it on stream how you're one of those players, which is like the awesome. It's like Lil Wayne saying you're going to be a good rapper, right? So try to put a pat on yourself on the back, man. And yeah, I'm going to see you in New Orleans. And guys, after this video, I literally just made a video talking to you about how I got scammed by Cary and his friends by Kyogre. So watch this video right here if you want to watch that. And Cary, I really appreciate it. If you guys can like, subscribe, comment how you feel, let me know. Cary, anything else you want to say before we hop off?
I don't think anything too crazy besides like and subscribe to the channel. Like genuinely. Also, if you'll let me, I would love to keep doing like team reports and like deep runs here.
Whenever you have any result, or if you even want to just talk, like we can figure out what to talk about the game more. We'll talk about this off camera, but guys, Cary could be a new partner of the channel. Let's call it that.
I'd be happy. Listen, I just love talking about the game, and like I'd be happy to be on anytime. I just got to like figure out college stuff first, because I'm graduating tomorrow. So
hey, congratulations, guys! Again, comment goated if you made it this far, because Cary's goated. He beat me, so he got to be a little goated. Guys, he's a man. But all right, guys, again, like this next video. I'm gonna put it right here. Watch this one. Really appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. It's been Dark Type Darsh. It's been Cary. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Peace.